Hello and welcome back to the Endless Pantheon, Tale of the Ever-Living. Last we left our demigods. They were deep in the heart of a village of very malevolent people. Sacrifices going on, blood being spilt, all manner of twisted and macabre visions
Deep in the heart.
and echoes abound. Our wayfarer, a demigod who reveres nature, the natural order of things and balance, unable to fully comprehend, to condone in any way the practices and the energies in this area, has taken a moment to split from his brethren, to center himself, to look deeper in himself. And we are left before us Poe, Vanut, and Garconius. Gentlemen,
Mm, yes.
since nightfall, these mortals have been in a perpetual form of celebration led by Poe himself. They seem to be almost exhausted, but never quite falling down, never giving up. Each awkward motion building upon the other until they're starting to get into some sort of rhythmic dance, learning how to celebrate and learning how to enjoy themselves for the first time in forever. The one golden maiden brought back in the visage of Vanut himself will remain cradled in Vanut's arms for as long as he will hold her. She will cry, worship, and caress him to his heart's content. Garconius, our stone giant, the one who would seem the hardest, the most gruff, opened himself to these villagers, members of the village that were once part of the shrines, were once dismembered pieces of humans, reformed at his feet. They begged him and prayed and pleaded, and he was given a vision of their torment. And again, the vision looked as such. How would you demigods like to proceed from this point?
Well, I'm gonna party the rest of the night. But before that, I mean, I guess we should we discuss like what we're gonna leave behind as far as government here? Is that important in this game, Nelson, or is that just something we kind of skip over?
You can do whatever you like. I mean, this is a living and breathing village.
All right. Well, I think we should set up the young lady that is in the image of Vanu to be like our prophet, and I think we should make the reconstructed into our priests um, that follow, Graconius's will, and then I will just party all night long with the people, show them a good time. But that's how I would leave things when we set out in the morning to take on the horrors of this everlasting, ever-living forest that we'll delve deeply into now. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds all right.
Yeah, I I don't have any problem with letting it forming a religion, if you will.
But how would you like to actually do this? What are you exactly doing?
Um, Luna kind of looks at this girl he's turned into gold, really. Um, Kind of marveling at the fact that he even was able to do it. Marveling at the fact that in some ways he made someone better. In many ways he made someone better. Um, so um, he kind of looks at her and says, "Not only will you be the bringer of chiefs into this world, you will be the new chief. And any who wishes to argue with me will feel my wrath."
She begins crying and holding you deep, very deeply, squeezing you as tightly as her mortal arms can. She's crying out, "No, no, I don't want to be the chief. Please, don't remove my head."
Oh yeah, that's right. So I think at this point Poe would kind of saunter up. He's prancing, clippity cloppity, and he would pull up next to the two of them and kind of lower himself down so that he's kneeling, and he would turn to Vanut and he would say, "Raise your idol up upon my back, brother, so that I may present her to our people." And I'm completely oblivious to the fear all over her face.
Most definitely. So, like I said, for as long as he will embrace her, she will remain in his embrace. She will never break it. She's clutching tighter now than she was before.
Very rare moment, considering he's only been around for a day. So I suppose eventually come, and you never know. Ben will look down at her, and kind of take her arms and kind of lift them up off of him, looking at her, kind of wiping her tears away with one hand, and after doing so, and say, "Child, now it is time for you to ascend, as I have gifted you my my seed of gold."
Oh,
she's
God.
she's crying and she's doing as you're saying, but she's just bawling. And she goes to her brand new perch upon your brother Poe.
Yeah, absolutely. And as she sits atop of me, that's when Poe finally feels that he gets it. He suddenly realizes that she's afraid. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and invoke her effect, and I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that right on out of her.
All right, so of course, keep moving your intention in the
Yeah,
appropriate direction.
So, as I understand it, unless you tell us differently, we start each session with our refresh, right?
Yes,
Okay, excellent.
which should be 3 fate points.
Yeah. So as she gets upon me and maybe she's shaking and trembling, and as I raise up, slowly, tenderly, allowing her to clasp onto Vanut's arm until the last moment where I'm too high up for her to reach anymore. And as I do that, I send a surge of my own divine will up into her, and I course up into her psyche, and I pull at those strings of fear, and I begin to tear them out and to consume them myself as I rise to my full height and begin to prance about with her atop me, calling the rest of the village and tribe around to worship their new idol.
And as you do that, the tears falling from her face were actually crystal clear and glittering almost, and they start to swirl about her and you, and that's actually what you start consuming. And once you consume it, she almost begins to glow a bit herself, even more brightly than she did when Vanut first created her, or first recreated her. And she sits proudly upon you now.
Excellent. And I turn to my brother and I say, Brother Vanut, come, say some words to the crowd so they may know that this woman is made in your image and that they should worship us equally.
Vanut steps forward at his brother's suggestion, and he kind of passes his eyes over all these humans here, and he begins his speech. We are four beings granted divinity by our Father who lives in the sky. There is, of course, my brother Poe. He may not be as gifted with your visage as I am, but he is heartier like yourselves. And of course there is me, Vanut, most glorious, spreader of the seed of wealth. The splendor of my being. Oh, I cannot wait for you all to worship me. And then there is my brother, the giant.
I would like to invoke your trouble.
You're going to compel him?
Yeah, I'm going to compel him, sorry.
Compel me to do...
I'm going to compel your narcissistic rage and inquiry. And injury. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to compel the splendor of my being.
Compel the splendor of my being?
Yeah. You can invoke or compel anything. It's not limited to just your trouble.
Alright, so as he's saying, and my beauty, I cannot wait to turn you all into gold as well. That would be good.
Are you accepting it?
Turning them all to gold?
Well, I'm compelling the splendor of my being. If you accept it, I describe the situation.
Oh.
And give you a fate point. If you do not want to accept it, you have to pay a fate point, and you can continue as you see fit.
I'll accept it.
You'll accept it? Okay. So mark down an additional fate point, which should put you at 4.
Yep.
So as you're going on, speaking about your glory, your visage, the beauty of yourself, you know, everyone is still enamored in these brand new motions and the feeling of genuine joy and happiness and just the frivolous nature that they have never known. And they're wrapped in it. And this is, you know, a bit of your narcissistic rage might play in, but as you're talking about your own glory, they're not paying you as much attention as they are, you know, the repeating the sort of motions and chants and doing what they were told and taught how to do by Poe. And they're actually angering you and not paying you as much attention as you believe you deserve.
As he kind of sees the focus shifting away from him, he yells, "Why aren't you listening to me, you puny beings?"
Listen to your master, my children. Vanut is my equal amongst you.
Okay, with that, when Poe starts to speak, they start slowing up and giving Vanut some attention. And it's quite clear that it was only upon Poe's words did that happen.
I'm gonna pull out my lute and begin to play that soft melody that I always play to lull Vanut when I see his rage, his cackles rising, and I'm playing.
And Garconius, you're still haunted by this image that you see on my screen.
Yes, Garconius is standing there. He's almost oblivious of what's been going on around him. He's just thinking about that image in his head. It's troubling him. And he feels as if he wants to rip it out. Did you all hear that? Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, Garconius, what do you tell to the revered few that are huddled around you, the remnants of the altars? What do you preach to them, or do you?
Oh, he's not preaching.
No, but they are at your feet, kissing your
he
toes
obviously he
clawing
feels
at your calves.
he feels the rippling of the ripples of their beliefs coursing through him, and that is to him is quite interesting. He feels invigorated by this new thing, this worship.
And again, you're flashed with an image, with the image you see on my screen.
Yes.
And with that, the golden maiden is whispering into your, or what would be your ears, Poe, directing you towards the chief's cabin.
All right, yeah. So, like, almost like Macarena fashion, I'll start a Congo line heading towards the chief's cabin, and I'll offer Vanut a seat up on top with the idol if he'll join us, so he can be at the head of the procession with me. At this point, I'm so caught up in the revelry and the brotherly love between myself and Vanut, I'm not really paying attention to whether he's angry or not still. But unfortunately, I'm also kind of completely distracted and have completely forgotten about Garconius. But I will take Vanut with me if you'd like, and then we'll Congo line up to the chief's place.
Are you going to hop on, Vanut?
Indeed I am.
All right, I would like to compel your narcissistic rage.
I accept it.
Are you going to accept it? Okay, mark off an additional fate point.
Jesus Christ!
And
So,
in your mind, you hop on. But once you hop on, you realize that the true head of this procession is Poe. That everyone following is following Poe's lead, and not only that, but this beautiful woman, this golden maiden, which you have made in what you believed was your image, who you had bestowed and injected with your divine beauty. She is not following you at all. She's actually before you, directly behind Poe.
Oh,
and you are third in this procession. And in your rage and in your anger, you apparently tenderly wrap your arms around this woman, almost to hug her, and then you rip her in half.
I see.
Oh, he buttered you up with an easy one and then got you hard, didn't he? God damn. All right. Well,
you just ripped the golden maiden in half. She let out a scream. And in this moment, how will you demigods like to react?
Well, I'll rear up and knock both of them off of me because I'm suddenly wet and I don't understand why yet. And then I'll turn about to see what happened. Garconis, I'm guessing that you were keeping an eye on things.
Well, he was keeping an eye on things, and then this is when he suddenly snaps to and hears that scream, and then he looks to where the scream came from, and he sees the girl with him too.
Oh.
And then he says, "What did you do?"
And about at that exact moment, Poe has turned about, and with a look of horror on his face, he says in unison, "What have you done, brother?"
Vanut,
is...
how do you react to this after giving into your narcissistic rage?
When his rage takes over, I don't think he doesn't really comprehend what he's doing as he's doing it. So only afterwards does he really feel the effects of it. And seeing this first real creation he ever made, destroying it in like a matter of minutes, is at parts exhilarating and at parts terrifying and horrifying. And so his face grows into a grimace where he starts to cry, but at the same time he's smiling. And he's and murmuring two different phrases at the same time, and like, that felt so good, and that why does it feel so good, and then like feel like happy and then sad, and happy and then sad, repeating it.
Is she putting herself back together?
Well, if you guys are waiting there, the conga line indeed begins to form. None of these villagers really react to what just happened. And in a few minutes, even the blood on the floor, it begins to curdle and move, and her halves start to literally crawl out.
Okay.
Her eyes, well, her one eye on each side, begins shedding tears, and the tears are actually golden as well. And she begins pulling herself with her arm closer to her other half. And these halves unite. And then she's kneeling there, still naked, still golden, tears streaming from her eyes, and then she's on her knees, kowtowing, bowing as low as she can. And you hear her mutter, "To live is to suffer. I understand, my lord."
And you see Poe. You see a look on his face that you've never seen before. He looks stern, and the color of his toad head and the brighter striped markings on his head have changed from their normal kind of bluish green tinge to a more orange fiery tinge, and he's looking at you, Vanut, disapprovingly. And with sternly, which is not something that Poe is known for. And he's looking at you, and finally he says, "Brother, tend to your creation. We have a procession to tend to."
And again, Garconius, you're haunted by this image. It seems to be becoming stronger and stronger in your mind as the reconstructed, as they were deemed, are clawing at your feet.
They're literally clawing up my feet.
Well, they can't really dig their fingers into you, but you know what I mean. They're kissing your feet. They're crying. They're clawing up. They're You know, like they're grabbing at you.
Okay, well, Garconius wants to. Is it possible to try and rip this image from my mind?
Roll. I don't have the character sheet up. What would that be? A wisdom?
Wise or
A will?
clever?
Wise. There we go. So roll a wise check.
There.
You don't completely get rid of it, but it's almost silhouetted in the back of your thoughts now. It's not pounding away at your consciousness.
Okay, well, Garconius, when he did that, he raised his massive hand to his face, and it's like these fiery tendrils just seeped into his mind to push this image back to the back of his mind, so it's not as troubling him anymore, or as much.
All right, and the rest of the demigods.
Yeah, I was waiting on Vanut, but I'll interact with Garconis after, too. I mean, or first, doesn't matter, I guess.
Is everybody still outside, or is Poe still outside?
Huh? Yeah. So we made it like 10 yards, and Vanut threw a temper tantrum, and as he does, and now his creation has reformed, and Poe has chastised him, which is the first time anybody's seen him angry, and he's just kind of waiting for a second there, and then I think we're going to the chief's hut. But I think Poe would also have noticed, because he had turned around, he would have seen Garconis a ways up the street, and he would have seen him do this. He would see him having trouble there. He would recognize some kind of psychic tumult going on. So he'd want to say something to Garconis, too, about that.
Okay.
But I'm waiting on Vanut.
Vanut.
Vanut almost immediately after his brother scolds him, he rushes to the side of his creation, and doing something almost uncharacteristically as well, he embraces her and kind of holds her close the same way that she held him close. And he's actually apologizing to her, like saying, I'm sorry.
She holds you again. She rests her head on your cheek, and she's like, I understand, Lord. It's the way it's always been. To live is to suffer. To suffer is life. And she's incredibly calm. Disturbingly calm, even. The disparity between emotions is, enormous. You're Vanut being, emotional, apologetic, and she's telling you not to worry, that she understands. Almost as if the roles were reversed.
And Vanut is taken aback by this this kind of like that her emotions aren't shown, or that this isn't something he's used to. And so he kind of, while still embracing her, looks back at his brothers and says, we need to do something.
Yeah. So Poe, seeing the reconciliation, the color of his head slowly begins to change back to its normal bluish green, and he looks down warily, but trusting and realizing, because he's a relatively wise being, that what had caused this. He looks to Vanut and he says, "You may lead the procession." and then distractedly he turns and says, he says, "But I see something amiss with Brother Graconius." And I kind of clip-clop up to him and look up with a worried look on my face, and I say, "Brother, what is the matter? I can see it upon your face."
So Carconius looks down to Poe, hearing his words. It's like the first time he's just became aware of his voice all night. He looks down to Poe and he says, "I think I know the cause of what is happening here. I must show you, but not in front of these people."
I see. All right, brother. Shall we find some privacy, then?
Let us find a place away from these people.
Excellent. But a bit of business in the chief's tent first.
Very well.
Okay, so I'm going to come up behind Vanut and his idol and get out my tambourine and start shaking it up and get the crowd all riled up again. And then I look just with this flash of wariness back towards Vanut. And then under my breath I say, "All right, brother, lead on to the chieftain's tent."
Before she follows Vanut, she actually leaves his side to go to Garconius, and she's lifting up the others, the reconstructed, one at a time. She picks them up, and then she holds them. She hugs them. She lays her head upon their chests, and they're crying, and they're like, but they have to help us. They don't know. She's picking them up one by one, repeating, our new Lord said, they've made me come to understand. I'm now like you. I have been reborn. Come. Follow us. You will come to understand as well. But the pain, the suffering, and she again repeats, to live is to suffer, and suffering is life. It's the way it always has been, and always will be.
And when I hear that, I kick Vanut a little. Just like one of those kind of under-the-table kicks, like, "God damn it! God damn it! We were so close! God!" And I kick him.
Is that a back kick?
Yeah. So we're like right upside of each other, and I hit him with my back, what are those damn things called? Hoof. But it's not a malicious kick. It's a God damn it, you fucked up kick.
And the Golden Maiden returns to Vanut's side, ushering in her first few handful of followers as they fall in behind her. But they're all still sort of choking back tears and a lot of emotional turmoil.
All right. Fucking A. All right, Vanut. Let's go.
Is there any, Nelson, is there any windows in this hut?
Well, you're not in any huts yet. You were in the center of the village. where the sacrifices were taking place, and you're walking, and there's a few
No,
homes.
no, Garconis, you don't have to have a window. You just pull the roof up so that you can see it.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, and you guys proceed, and she directs Vanute. She directs Vanute to the actual chieftain's hut, and of course it's one of the largest huts at the edge of town, and there's actually it's a hut that's built around this large tree sprouting out, and as you enter into this hut, what you see before you is actually this. It's a man, just like any other villager, dressed just as any other of the villagers, but his head seems to be sprouting a tree, and this tree is growing up on top of the tree in which he sits. The tree in which he sits seems to be formed, not carved, but grown in the shape of a throne. And he's just sitting there. Blood is pouring from where his neck would be, and it doesn't seem to stop. There's blood even pouring from the knot of the tree that is now his head.
For the love of God, what is the meaning of this? Or the love of Father, I guess I should say.
So how do the rest of you react? Oh, Garconis, do you tear off the roof?
What is it? Is it made of branches and things?
Pretty much. It's like a grass hut. It's it's a little sturdier than a normal grass hut because all the branches and grass would have regrown and intertwining with each other. But you're definitely strong enough to just tear it right off.
Oh, he doesn't need to do that. He just walks up to the branches and then he touches it, and then all these branches just part away as if he's opening the window.
Sure.
And then when he sees this thing, he's completely reviled.
They part away in almost fear of you.
And I seeing this would also kind of revile from it, and I would turn and I would say, Brother Garconis, remove this atrocity from our sanctum.
And when you say that, it begins to stir and move.
Ah!
And almost as if puppeteered, it begins to stand, and the tips of the branches that were connecting its head to this larger tree snap and free themselves from it.
Is it? Wait, so, what is the meaning of this creature?
Garconius repeats up, "What are you? Speak!"
The golden maiden says, "This is our chief, and the head of our tribe is the heart of a god. But I am now the heart of a new god, and he sits in my throne." And she says it calmly.
And then when Garconius hears that, and he's, as if he's just caught on to something, he says, "You are to take his place."
That is what your kin have sought for me, and I accept it. I will not fight my fate.
No,
And
this will not be your fate.
the tree-headed creature that is their chief is stumbling around, steadying itself, and it then turns the tree for a head it has, having the knot hole, look at each and every one of you one by one, and is pointing a very shaky hand one by one at each of you.
It knows us, brothers.
But I do not wish to know of it. It's a total buzzkill.
And the longer you guys sit there chatting with each other, as it's pointing its hand towards you, you begin to notice that the blood that was bleeding incessantly, unendingly, from where its neck should be, stains the throne, and the blood that stains the throne is starting to be absorbed in this in the throne, in this large tree, and the tree starts pulsating, and its branches start to move and lower.
Okay, so well, Gargonius reacts to this. He's sensing that the sudden threat of this all coming to life as it is, more likely to attack, and he reaches out his arm, and this fiery tendril just breaks from the palm of his hand and starts to it serpents its way to the tree and engulfs it in a as if it was constricting it with flame.
As you do that, a few things happen. First, the Golden Maiden sort of grabs Vanut by the side and then stares at him in his eyes and says, "How will I rule? He burns my throne." And the creature that has this tree head, stumbling back and forth, whips its view towards you, raises its hand, and pounds down towards the floor as it seems to almost fall, and the tree branch animates and pounds down on top of Garconius. So,
Oh snap!
if you would like to try to absorb the damage and allowing it to hit you, you could roll a mighty defense. If you would like to jump out of the way, you could roll a swift defense.
I will roll a mighty defense.
Yeah!
So he doesn't even attempt to get out of the way.
Just takes it on the brow.
So did I roll here?
Okay, so you failed. You failed by 1.
2.
You can succeed at a cost, or you could just take the stress. It's only 1 shift of damage, so it'll only be 1 stress.
Okay, I'll just take that.
Alright, so it actually hits you and it rocks you. And the tree-headed thing stands back up. And it's raising both its hands slowly now. Vanut and Poe, how would you like to react?
I'm going to create an advantage. I'm going to try to create an advantage. I'm going to take a big, huge, I'm going to engorge my stomach with ambrosia.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to create an advantage here, and the advantage is going to be engorged stomach. So I will roll. What do you want, bold for that, or what do you want? What do you want for that?
Engorged stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll bold. Go ahead. Roll bold.
Okay, cool. All right, so I get +3 to this. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong dice. I need to be on fate dice. Come on, big money, big money, big money, big money. Okay, it's big money. It's 4 +4. Probably get my advantage.
Yeah, so that's I believe that's 2 free invokes.
Oh, did I succeed with style? Excellent.
Succeeding with style is how much more?
You need 2 shifts, I think, or I think it's a 3-shift success. Actually, no, it's a 3-shift success is the style. Yeah, 3-shift success. Not 2.
Oh, okay, then no, you only have one free invoke.
So DC of 2, yeah. Okay, so absolutely awesome. So yeah, so he stands up, he sees this, and he begins to just chug his drink. And this may look very irresponsible to some people, but there's a twinkle in his eye as he does it. Awesome, thank you.
And how does Vanut react?
As this fight's going on, he's kind of still recovering from the rage that he was induced upon him, I suppose. He induced upon himself. And as the Golden Maiden kind of looks at him and tells him, like, how could you rule if you didn't have a throne? I would like to use my aspect of Splinter by being
Okay.
to shine out like a golden light around myself as I yell, "Stop this fighting!"
Okay, what effect is that supposed to have, though? The only ones fighting are the tree-headed chieftain and your brethren at the moment.
That's what I mean. Like, I want to at least stop so they can listen to me for a minute.
So roll your check.
So it's bold, which is a 3. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay.
That tree is going to stop fighting.
I'm not even going to roll against that. There's no way. There's really no way that this chieftain can oppose you. As a matter of fact, because of you know what? Feel free to take complete and total agency and describe how the splendor of your being destroys the chieftain.
You're like, blah.
Oh, you're gonna monologue his ass.
Stop fighting! Okay, well, I'm dead. That's how I stop fighting. Awesome, okay, go.
I yell this, the very light that I create, almost speaks like a weapon as I talk, and I look at him and I say, "You are not fit to be a chief. Only I will decide who is chief in this world." And as I'm saying my words and I'm getting angrier and just completely fed up with this thing, I would kind of like that. He's made of gold, isn't he? Or
Vanut?
is?
Vanut is.
Vanut is. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I'd like the chief, and at least the branches that are connecting to the tree, to turn gold as I'm talking to him, so that he becomes a seat rather than a living being.
Oh man, he's forging a new throne out of this. The guy is what he's doing.
That's what you're doing. You're forging a new throne
Yeah,
out of
I'm
the chief.
turning his body into the throne.
Sure.
His creation just said, "But where am I going to sit?"
So you forge a new golden throne from the chief's from the apparently previous chief's body. He twists and contorts, and he literally bends over backwards as his head twists. Well, his tree head twists about. The golden branches rooting into the floor. His arms shoot up and cross over to form the back of the chair, and he contorts so that your golden mistress, the maiden in which you created or recreated in your image, now has her own throne. And the throne that he once sat upon, on fire, begins to actually rot, and it uproots, and these roots begin retreating into the sky, into the night sky.
Damn.
Yeah, boy. All right, and Poe, Poe lets out a massive belch as he realizes that he no longer needs an engorged stomach.
Nice.
And then Garconius, they just starts bursting into laughter. A warrior's pride, of his golden brother, and he shouts, "Well done, Vermouth!"
Yes, and halfway through Poe's belch, you also hear him say through the belch, "Yes, brother! Great work!"
So with this new throne, the golden throne made literally from the previous chief, the Golden Maiden, her eyes begin to open, and for the first time you start to see emotion since she was torn in half. She grins and turns to you, courteously nods, and walks to sit upon her throne.
And I play my lute the whole way up. Very regal song.
And the tribes people outside they're partying, and you could hear them chanting. And if you were to throw a look outside, you would see them moving about in their newly learned and acquired rhythmic forms. The reconstructed that was following her as she takes her new throne, they all line up and encircle her, still sort of choking back their pain and tears, and they all kneel and bow to worship her on her throne.
And I come up beside of Banu tonight, and I look at him and I say, "It was a close one, brother, with your tantrum and all, but I must say you have done good work here today." And I'll pass him some ambrosia.
And while this is going on, the Golden Maiden, again, with the grin on her face, but little emotion, no fear, no pain, again utters, "To suffer is to live. Life is suffering." She looks upon the reconstructed at her feet. "You all know life and have lived more than any other here. And I know what it is to live now." And she turns and starts looking at each and every one of you.
Pray to us with a voice of jubilance. That's my decree.
All right, and how do the rest of you respond? Garconius, Vanut? Do you guys act in this?
I'll let Garconius go first to be there.
So, when Garconius hears this, that she knows what was it that she knows what it's like to live.
She knows what it is to live. She says, "To live is to suffer. Suffering is life." She looks upon the reconstructed and tells them that they have lived and know life like no other here, and she now knows what it is to live before looking at you demigods.
So, does she have a name, or is she just like a golden girl, or something?
She's just, I'm just referring to her as the Golden Maiden, since
Her name is Vanita.
Is that what you want to call her? You can name her anything, but most mortals, their names are meaningless to gods.
Give her a name, Garconius. Why not?
Me? I think it should be the creator.
Yeah, it should probably, but I'd love to hear you get in on it a little. We'll get in on a little action. Remember, we're all cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. There you go, man. I get name.
Oh, so you wait, hold up. So you were okay with sticking Nelson with coming up with a name, but you're not okay with coming up with one yourself.
Yeah, I didn't expect it was gonna be me. I just asked, did she have a name? I didn't know if Luke.
Well, you do understand that,
I'm
that the
just
majority
kidding.
of what's going on is very improv related, since I'm allowing you guys to pretty much do anything, right?
Okay.
So I'll
So,
do a little improv your way, buddy.
All right. Well, I
Child of
can't think of
Drummond.
a name at the minute because I'd want to know what it means and all that type of shit. So,
Oh, okay.
I can't just. If you can think of a name that means something, yeah, but
How about
Yeah,
Child
just
of Vanut? We can
Golden
call it
isn't
that.
it?
Daughter of
So
Vanut.
Carconius, when he sees this, he says, "If you know what to live, will you teach them this to live?"
She bows her head. I will teach them as you, my lords, have taught me, shown me, as these who are at my feet already know. We will glorify you and live as we never have before.
Yeah.
And as she says that, again, that silhouette in the back of your head, Garconius, seems to clear, and that image that you were trying to get rid of grows a bit. And for Poe and Vanut, for the very first time, you have the silhouette of a tree in the back of your head, a tree whose roots are uprooted and winding like whips, but it's not very clear.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So, seeing this, I would immediately recognize that this may have been what had been disturbing my brother, and so I would turn to Vanut, and I'd see a look upon his face that showed that he had also seen the same thing that I had seen, and I would turn to him and I would say, "Brother, say farewell to these people. We must tend to other business now."
Not long after he had done his brightness thing, he had slumped to the ground. So he's kind of looking up at Poe, almost like the shine of his splendor is almost dimming slightly, and that giving off all that light and that ability kind of drew him back into almost a humble form. So his hair isn't like flowing in the wind when it normally would, isn't giving off a shine. It's almost like a dull look, and his hair is kind of like drooping down past his face and over his eyes, and so he looks up at Poe and he's like, "Yes, that tree."
So you demigods leave?
Yeah, if Vanut seems to be a little out of it, and so I kind of help bolster him up a little bit and lead him outside of this hut to where Garconius is standing and holding or wait, no, that's right, he created an opening to look through, and I look up at Garconius kind of leading along this sort of befuddled Vanut out of the chamber with one final affirming nod to the idol we leave behind. I look up to the Titan and I say, Brother, I think I may have seen what has troubled you. Shall we go and have that talk now?
Good. Let us go. We will talk about this further.
Excellent. And then we will head off to an appropriate little bit of grassy knoll, probably close to the wall. And
as you leave and you give the idol a nod, she speaks to you and says, "My lord, thank you for your courage." And as Garconius leaves, she turns to him and nods, and, "My lord, thank you for your strength." And finally, whenever Von Newton would go, she would turn to him and says, "My lord, thank you for your beauty. We will glorify you all."
As she says that, Bennett will kind of look at her out of the corner of his eye as he begins to leave, and then turn and say, "It is you who is beautiful." And then he will turn back out and leave.
Awesome.
All right, gentlemen. So you get to your little grassy knoll, your area. Of course, walking through the village as you explore more of the village to find a quiet little spot, you do notice that there's blood and carcasses everywhere, idols of animals and their flesh torn open, their ribcage nailed to trees and places. Also areas that are just covered in blood, old blood now. This village has, obviously not healed so fast from what they had endured before you showed. But you do manage to find a nice dark corner where there are no villagers and people are no longer following you, as the party and celebration continues at the new chieftain's hut.
So
Yes.
when Garconius sees that they are alone, he kneels down, looking left and right just to make sure that no villagers are peeking. And then he starts to form in his mind how exactly that he is going to show his brothers what he had indeed seen. And so yet again he brings his hand to his face, to his head, and these tendrils just reach into his mind. And upon taking the image, as if he's like drawing it out, he brings his hand down, and then this fiery column rises from his hand, and then he's visualizing and shaping the image of that tree before his brothers.
I would like to compel Garconius's volcanic fury.
You do?
Yeah.
You do?
Would you like to accept it and gain a fate point, or would you like to not accept it and spend a fate point?
Okay, I'm going to accept it.
You're going to accept it? Okay, mark down and you have another fate point. I don't believe you spent any of yours, so you should have 4 at this moment. And with Garconius's volcanic fury, he's bringing forth this fire and trying to recall this image. And as this image is pulsating in his mind, he flashes back to the feelings of pain and suffering and anguish, and each macabre and disturbed vision, the sight of both creature and man reforming, their organs rolling, blood bleeding everywhere. These things swirl about in his mind as he's trying to recreate an image for you guys, and through the cracks of his stony flesh you can see molten magma start to glow, and then the floor begins to crack and you see molten magma start to pour out of it slowly, and you feel the ground start raising and raising and raising beneath your feet.
Whoa there, brother. Harness yourself.
And everything around you is beginning to rumble. And you can start seeing the lights turn on in the distance, by the walls, the outskirts of the town, as each of the stones begins to erupt like their own small little volcano. And the magma at the center of this swell is in the shape of the image in which Garconius saw. And you can only see it for a moment before Garconius slams his fist into the image in his fury.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Careful, brother. These mortals are fragile. They are not like us. They cannot wade through a sea of molten rock. They will burn.
So as this happens, and after Garconius slams his fist into the image, and it evaporates into flames, little bits of flames, he starts heaving and he starts heaving as if this whole weight of this was so much on his mind. And he's taking deep breaths, and the spouts of lava is even coming out of his mouth as he's wrestling with this turmoil inside him that he never knew he had before. This is a whole new emotional experience for him. He didn't, and he's finding it quite difficult. Suppressing this thing as cracks form, fiery cracks form in his flesh, and his skin turns black, and his eyes flicker, and he just says, "Whoa, what is happening?"
You did manage to catch a glimpse of the image he formed before it was destroyed. And in the briefest of glimpses, it again was a tree with the roots uprooted and whipping about like tendrils. Upon the face of the tree had 6 heads carved into it.
So yeah, Poe sort of jerking around, trying to keep his footing as the earth around him heaves and cracks it. He would say, "Oh, brother, save your anger for our quarry. Remember the ancient wisdom: do not shit where you eat."
Garconius lifts his head up and looks directly at Poe, and he reaches out his hand, this blackened, rocky hand, and he says, "Give me some of your ambrosia, brother. Maybe this might calm me."
Excellent. And yes, as I lift my jug up towards Garconius, Poe begins to strain with the weight of it as it grows in size, larger and larger, until his little hooves are buckling and he's almost falling, and finally he shoves now this humongous vat of ambrosia into the hand of Garconius.
And Garconius reaches for this, and he takes it into 2 hands, and he brings it to his mouth, and he's gulping it down. It's like, and you hear this hissing.
Actually, I'm going to use a stunt. I'm going to use a stunt here too. Yes. Sorry. So hold that description. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you midstream like that. But I'm actually going to go ahead and spend a fate point, activate my stunt, and give that ambrosia that he is drinking the temporary aspect of relaxing, and then invoke the free invocation to relax him.
Okay, so
So
go ahead.
So you're moving your intention in the appropriate correct direction, right?
I am, yes.
What is your?
I'm spread it. I've got. I've only done 1 dot in bold, 1 dot in clever, 1 dot in wise, and now I'm going 1 more in bold, and I'm going to hit 2 now.
But
So
remember from last time you had to move your intention.
Yeah, I know. I had 2.
Okay.
I moved my intention twice last time, and I've only created an advantage this time, so I haven't used a.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, hold on. So I invoked once this time. I invoked wise, and last game I invoked bold and clever. So I'm at 3. I'm actually not doing it the greatest, because if I was doing it the greatest, I would pile it all up on 1 so I could get a bigger.
I don't know. Like that could get dangerous. Remember, the trick to gods and monsters is to attain power without attaining it too fast and too much of it.
So I apologize for interrupting, but now this works. You are completely relaxed by the end of your description, and go ahead. I apologize for interrupting.
Okay, so Garconis is take this to his mouth, and he's gulping the dye. There's like this waterfall of coolness that's going through, and soothing this fiery fury that was engulfing him, and this hissing comes from his body. It's like water on fire. And slowly and steadily, his form starts to turn from black to more of a grayish, brownish color again, and his eyes return to white. And
All right, cool.
And he says, "Thank you, Poe. Thank you."
Also,
and
with that,
sorry, go ahead.
with that, when he's thanking you and you're hearing the hiss and the cooling from his core due to your ambrosia, you can kind of notice the surrounding area that was alight with erupting miniature volcanoes begins to dim slightly, and you see backlit by this lava steam coming up, surrounding the village in the night, and the light of the lava beneath it illuminating the steam as it seems to take a humanoid form and almost dance.
And so Poe would nod solemnly to Garconius, and then he would turn and he would put up a hand as if he's trying to get a good look out, so he puts it up above his eyes and he squints out into the debris and the haziness that's in this backdrop now, and he points out with his free hand and he says, "Oh, there, brothers, what do you make of that?" And he points at these figures dancing.
How far away are they, Nelson?
It's the edge of town, the border of this village. So, however close to that border you want to be, that little corner of the village that you found could be right up against the border if you want.
Okay.
If you are right up on the border, you would also notice, you would notice, since you're so tall, that there's a river of magma, not a large one, but a small one, on both the outside and the inside. And the stone wall that you have initially created is now a wall of small volcanoes.
When Garconius creaks his giant head round to see this, he gasps. He's like, "What did I do? I didn't kill them, did I?" And he says that with a, for in that moment he just forgets that these people born or immortal. He feels as if he's destroyed them all, seeing these little volcanoes. And then with that, he rises to his feet to get a better look.
Do not fear, brother. That is not those are not the screams of horror. Those are the screams of jubilation. They must have thought it a spectacle.
So, did you say, Nelson, 3 forums are dancing?
From the volcanoes, instead of them erupting, the eruptions of those miniature volcanoes has stopped, and now they're just steaming. The light of this lava, the luminescence that it provides in this darkest night, you can see the smoke rising from them, but the smoke seems to be taking on a humanoid shape, and it's actually swaying back and forth almost like a dance very similar to the dance taught by Poe to these villagers.
Oh, so we recognize this. Do I recognize this as a manifestation of our divine will?
You recognize it as a manifestation of your calming influence and frivolous nature.
I got all caught up in that, thinking it was something else. Awesome. So as I have this realization, I would turn to Garcodius and I would say, look at how our divine wills play with each other. It is a sight worth the jubilation of this place, worth revelry. But we do have a great task at hand. We must defeat this primordial force that still looms over our great people.
However, Garconius, being that you actually tower over these huts, you can see a bit in the distance. They're bringing branches and trees, and they're lighting them with the lava to raise the amount of light in this night, and they're partying. But there's one odd thing that catches your glimpse, is that one of the villagers is being strung up on a tree right now.
Oh, hell no.
That's exactly what Garconius' reaction is, after seeing the spectacular thing. Not again. Oh, brother Vermouth, we must return to this village before another sacrifice becomes this place.
And I look to my great Titan brother, and I'd say, we have done much here tonight, brother. I fear that this is the influence of that dark force at work. Perhaps if we were to quiet that voice, we could finally reach these people. And
Garconius at that moment was about to stride off to go to the village, but then he stopped as soon as he heard Poe's words, and he thinks about it for a moment, and he nods his head in agreement. This will never end until we end this ourselves.
And almost at that moment, the chanting and song and rhythmic nature of what's happening in the distance grows silent, and you just hear one voice cry out, "Teach me to live."
Yes.
Followed by silence, and then everyone cheering.
We must root out the infection if we are to heal the populace. I feel bad because I'm a little more serious than I should be, but without Wayfarer here, I mean, I gotta add a little bit of sense of urgency where I would just sit here partying all night long.
Yeah, we've lacked our moral compass here.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I can't. We've done everything we can. I mean, Von Newt, like it tore the bitch in half. I mean, I'm sorry, pardon my language. We are recording. I apologize, people. That's. Oh Lord, I don't usually use that term that way. Anyhow, yeah. But either way, before we move scene, I really need to take a quick break.
Yeah, sure. Everyone take 5 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Sure.
Thanks, guys. Hey, Luke, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. You just been quiet. It's just been quiet is all. I was just wondering if you had gone for a cheeseburger or something.
I'm back. All right, leave me alone, dude. I'm back.
What?
That was my brother.
Oh yeah.
I gave him a quick quick sort of rundown of what just happened, and he's like getting all loud now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're a bunch of goofs.
But it's dude, you guys are demigods. Not only are you just demigods at the moment, you're not even a full day old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
of course, you guys are gonna have your little bumps, and back in ancient actual mythology, many of the gods did insane things too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they blamed every natural disaster that there was on them. So it's, any plague, any little thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's how people rationalize the horrible things that were happening to them way back then. But
I'm scared for when we get to more intelligent human beings. Where they're damn it, the gods again.
I don't think we're ever gonna have. I mean, we might end up with a hero, or maybe even hunters trying to take us down. But I can't imagine, because like you said, back in this time, the gods are the gods. So we're probably coming against humans that worship other gods that won't, that will mock us.
Remember, this is the late part of the Stone Age. The area you are in right now, they apparently look all Stone Age. They're tribes, they're tribal people, tribal communities. So they're just starting to unite. This is a permanent residence, so you know that they're not wandering. So there's change happening. You're born in an age of change, a shifting age. but they still have very primitive ways of thinking.
I think I'm going to outlaw meat eating. At least until we take care of this everlasting thing. Well, not that they'll listen to us. I mean, look at them. They're fucking... They're already killing... They're already torturing each other again, goddammit!
Remember.
I know.
There's the mortal's interpretation of the god's words,
Yeah.
and you haven't actually sat there and said, hey, you just said pray jubilantly.
Yeah, so they're praying jubilantly while cutting each other up. Yep. No, I get it. Poe is Poe, so that's exactly what he said to do.
Yeah.
He didn't really clarify, but in his mind, he thinks that they should just know that, because he doesn't have that kind of shit in his nature.
Poe is telling everybody to be happy, so
Yeah.
they're being happy. Vanute was sort of stuck in his remorse, and Garconius has been very, very introverted about his visions up until this point.
Yeah. But now we're here, and we have a new quarry. And frankly, as a player, I'm ready to just get the fuck out. So that's where I stand, guys. Unless you guys want to do anything else here, I feel like we should go take care of this problem.
Yep. Let's go get it.
All right. Well, Jim, that's the plan.
Well, yeah. So you guys are leaving the village.
Yep. We're heading to find our quarry. I don't know how we know where we're going, but hopefully we've figured something out at this point.
You could leave into the forest.
Yeah, I was planning on waiting until the morning, but now as I see this shit going down, I'm going now. We're going now. Fuck it.
Well, you guys can go into the night, exploring and whatnot. And again, you come across very similar sights as you did during the day, the first day of your life, where wolves were consuming prey animals that weren't dead, and they're just sitting there guarding what would normally be their carcass, just hounding over it, nipping at each other, vying for position, some not giving away their positions and allowing any others to eat. The creature just crying out, whatever animal it is, its cries of obvious pain. Like you could feel the pain of this animal. Songbirds flying around, nipping and actually biting each other, consuming bits of each other. Blood-decorated trees and whatnot. There is the occasional howl in the night. It sounds like a wolf just followed by this deathly breeze that kills everything in its wake. And from the death is rebirth as they're given life moments later. In your heads echo prayers once again, almost pulling you towards where you came from. Some prayers pulling you in another direction, but the prayers pulling you back towards Stone Hollow is that of it hasn't changed. There is no change. We still suffer, but now we make them suffer. We want the suffering to stop. From some of them, other prayers are almost inconceivable. You just feel pain in the prayer. There's not much coherent words in there. There's just a feeling of pain and confusion and direction, but a reluctance to go in that sense of direction. And it's coming from further in the Hungering Wood. Which way would you like to go?
Back to the village or further into the Hungering Wood?
Yes.
Well, I've already been to the village, so I think I'd like to go further into the Hungering Wood.
So as Poe goes deeper into the Hungering Wood, Vanut and Garconius.
Oh, we can follow him.
Indeed. Follow after.
Clippity-cloppity, clippity-cloppity.
So yeah, so you guys are going, and again, the forest seems to close in on you, getting thicker and thicker. The growth becoming more dense. The trees and the plants covered in splashes of black. And as you move further through, you notice that instead of black, it's actually fresh blood. And you come across into another clearing that opens up into another village that you were drawn to. This village, yeah, this village is slightly different. There aren't so many huts, but you see hung in rows on the inner side of the walls of the village, human heads, and their eyes all turn to look at you.
I would turn and taking this in, I first as I move forward and the forest is thick. He starts to jog. He sees that it's thinning. He thinks he's finally getting there, and then he comes out, breaks through the clearing, and he sees the heads, and Poe's shoulders just slump, and he's like, he turns to the others, and he's just got this look of this worried, kind of consternated look, and he looks to Garconis and he says, "Brother, you have the greatest connection to this malevolent force. Do you feel as though it comes from this place?"
Garconis just strides up and stops right beside Poe, looking to all these heads, and he shakes his head. And does he feel as if it's at its feels the feelings at its peak here? Is it stronger?
Garconis, who had opened himself up the most to the prayers last time, in this area, he can feel that the secondary prayers, the incoherent prayers, the sense of direction, but the reluctance to follow that direction is actually coming from these severed heads. That there's a huge sense of worship, but also confusion as to why they're there and why they hurt so much.
Okay. Garconis looks down at Poe, at least. The prayers come from this place, but I sense the uneasiness and the indecision and confusion here. It's almost like these souls are not one with the earth. They do not know why they're here.
And Poe would be kind of shifting around a little uneasily, his tail flicking a little impatiently, and he would look about and back to his brothers, and he would say, "Well, we may as well investigate while we're here." And he'll head off into. I'm going to head on in. I'm going to see what the hell's going on here with these heads.
Yeah, there's not as many small huts. There's fewer huts, but each hut is larger.
Okay.
And if you walk towards one of the huts, you start hearing a disturbance inside the hut, movement going around.
Yeah, absolutely. I would turn and I would look to them and I would say, "I'm going in," and then I would just dash through the door resplendently. And as soon as I got inside, I would rear up to my full height, standing on my hind legs, and I would say, "Behold me!"
And you would hear like whelps, like.
Oh, do you need to send us really
And as you look while you're rearing down, you see about half a dozen humanoid bodies, but they all have animal heads.
Yeah, so you would see Poe go in, you would hear, "Behold me!" And then you would promptly see Poe fall backwards out of the hut and on into the street and kind of scramble up to his feet. Most of the color completely gone from his head, like very pale, almost white head at this point, wide eyes, bleary with fear and disgust, and he would say, "Abominations!" and point into the thing. I don't know why he's so judgmental about things with animal heads, but this is how he reacted.
So, Garconis sees Poe react like this and stumble backwards and shout, "Abominations!" He motions forward to this place and, "Be careful, brother. I will look." And he gets his fists ready, is almost as if waiting for an attack, and then he looks in into the hut and sees these people. And are they different animal heads, Nelson? Or are they
They're all different types. Some seem to be cougar heads. Some seem to be more wolf heads, doe heads, deers, bears. They're just an amalgamation of man and beast head. Beast head of varying types.
And how do they react when they see Garconis?
They're all sort of, again, just growling and nipping and yelping in your direction. They seem to be dropping down to all fours, to their hands and feet, almost stalking as they're spreading apart.
And then when Garconis sees this, it's like he blinks, and then he realizes something. This is not right. And he's forming this idea in his head. They've been changed. And he's thinking back to the human heads on the walls. Oh, look at these people. Their heads have been removed and placed before the walls of this village.
And so how is Garconis looking in? Are you like bent over peering through a window, or did you open the hut up, or what did you do?
Well, he's leaning over. He's kneeling over. Nelson said this hut is rather big.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the door is quite big.
Well, you can just push your way in through the door. It's not really going to offer much of any resistance.
Okay,
Alright,
so
well,
he can
I suppose
actually
that is a good point.
So Poe, hearing Garconis, who does not seem to have been killed by the beasts within, he would kind of tentatively poke his head around the door jamb, and you would just see the frog head kind of sticking in horizontally from the side of the door. And as he looked in and sees you and sees them, and the color begins to come back to his head, he looks, and then you see one finger come up, and he scratches the top of his head, and he says, "Oh, I think I get your meaning, brother. Shall we play match 2?" And he kind of gazes back at the heads and then back into the room, and he's contemplating how difficult it's going to be to figure out which head goes to which body.
As you're scratching your head, real quick, I'm wondering what Vanut is doing.
I am also wondering that.
Vanut is actually over by the heads. And a little bit of the shine and the brilliancy has come back to him by now, but he's not fully... Something seems to have affected him a little bit by what happened. But he's gazing over at these heads. And he's like, this can't do, this can't do, this can't do. None of these are gold.
Oh no. Oh no.
And when he says, none of these are gold, you can actually feel the earth moving beneath you, beneath your feet, Vanut. And there's twigs and growth starting to sprout from beneath the floor.
And he looks over his brothers. Brothers? What's this?
Does this look familiar? Does it look like those other things that we had encountered? Those shambling things?
At this point, it looks like a tree is growing there, like a sapling. And the sapling is starting to sprout out and grow. There's another sapling, and they're starting to twine around each other.
I would, turn my attention from inside the hut over towards Vanut, and then seeing this quickly say to Garconis, "Looks like there's another development here, brother. I will go to take a look, and I'll go join Vanut to inspect this tree. Now, have I seen the vision of this wood, the tree, the head tree clearly at this point, or not?
In your mind, no, but you did discern what it would look like because of the image that Garconius had made before he smashed it.
He was able to communicate that before he... Yeah, okay. Excellent. Does this thing that's growing up have any resemblance to, like, the color of wood, perhaps, or the naughtiness, or anything?
Well, you wouldn't have seen a color of wood since the image was made with magma.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever then. Is there any similarities?
It definitely looks like a tree.
All right. Well, I don't know what to do with this, so I'll just investigate it then.
So Garconius sees this as well, and he rises, and what next, he says, and joins.
This tree really disturbs you as it's growing.
What, all of this, or me especially?
No, Garconius. It's starting to disturb Garconius. Garconius is getting images of that tree that he saw flashing back.
Ooh.
And it's getting stronger and stronger in your mind. And again,
when he... Go ahead.
Again, while this is becoming strong in your mind, those incoherent prayers and sense of confusion are pounding away in his brain.
And so Garconius grits his teeth when he sees this, and reviled, and these images flashing to the fore of his mind, and he says, "Is this it? Is this you?" And he's speaking in that thing's direction.
And as you're asking it, a few moments pass, and it grows into a fully grown tree. But a very big tree. The base of the tree is the only one that could fit their arms around it would be Garconius. And the tree, after it grows, the roots begin to wiggle and wriggle free of the earth and start lashing out and whipping to and fro. And then the bark of the tree starts to separate in a few different areas. And after it separates, human faces begin to peer through, and they're crying out in pain. And you could actually hear their screams of torment. There are 5 human faces screaming, and the 6th face is in a motion of pain, but it is not screaming, and the face is made of gold.
What?
How do you gentlemen, you demigods, react to that?
I would like to react first. Vanut would like to. I would like to activate my own narcissistic rage.
Okay. How are you activating it?
Or
Like, if you invoke it, you can invoke it for a reroll, you can invoke it for effect, or you can invoke it to get a +2 to your roll. Otherwise, you can just roleplay and tell me what you're doing.
essentially, I'd like to maybe add it to a +2 to a roll, just so I can attack this tree for. Because if I see that golden face, is it? Do I recognize it as the face from the Golden Girl?
No.
But it is a mockery of your image, sir. Whatever.
That's not how I look like.
That's what I say.
So, tell me what you're doing.
I don't know how I'd be able to do it. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Well, what are you trying? Just tell me what you were trying to do.
I was going to attack it by summoning like a weapon. Man.
You want to summon a weapon?
Yeah.
What do you want the weapon to look like?
I would like it to look like, like a golden spear.
Like a golden spear?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, and what are you attacking with? Which one of your approaches? I mean, it definitely can't be subtle. I don't know about clever or wise, but bold, mighty, and swift are definitely viable options. I'm thinking almost bold. Either bold or mighty might be the best sort of approach.
Well, if he's
I think
attacking with the weapon itself, it'd be mighty. If he's more attacking with his divine will and just using the weapon as a symbol, then that could be bold for sure.
I'm actually going to use mighty.
All right, beautiful. And you want to invoke your narcissistic rage?
Yeah.
Okay, so you spend a fate point. You move your intention in the appropriate direction, and you get a +2 to your roll.
In addition to all your other.
Yeah. In addition to your normal mighty. So whatever your mighty is.
Just one.
So it would you would select the +3 option, and then roll.
Which is a fair.
Which is a fair, and then I would have to defend. So it doesn't even move out of the way. Okay, which is a superb. So, he sits there. He stands there almost yawning. You can hear the cries of pain. From the faces coming out. 5 faces constantly screaming in pain. Again, the 6th frozen as a golden face. you form this golden spear and toss it at this creature, and it just raises up one of its roots. It sticks into a root. It wraps its root around it and shatters the gold.
Oh, snap.
Question.
What's up?
When my intention hits 1 in each thing, what happens?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
It's if your intention goes all the way off the track, you become a monster.
Okay.
And you essentially lose your god. The numbered stages are upon the completion of a tale.
Okay.
So that's what happens. It goes to block with one of its roots. It partially sticks into one of its roots, and it just rolls with it, slides its root along the shaft of the spear, and then contorts and shatters the golden spear that you threw at it.
No!
So that now leaves Poe and Garconius.
Yeah,
to
so
react.
I'm drinking again. I'm gonna attempt to guzzle. So I'll go ahead and roll it. So yeah, Poe raises his brass jug, which is now returned to its normal size above his head. Begins to chug, chug, chug. And I'll get it.
Yep.
And awesome. So I've created the advantage engorged stomach.
Okay, so you got engorged stomach once more with what? With one free invoke.
Yes. I'd love to be able to use it this time. Yes, I think I will. Okay, Garconius, just don't one-hit it, okay?
Okay, so Garconius sees this thing. He feels himself boiling, that sizzling coming, and this the rocky wasteland. His back and fiery veins appear in his neck and in his face, and he sees Bermude's spear smashed as if it was nothing to this beast, and he yells out, and he shouts out, "You dare mock us!" And as that happens, Garconius raises his fist backwards, and his rocky arm starts to form and shape into a large axe-type weapon. And then he lunges forward to attack the tree.
All right. Ugh. So this tree again, not even trying to dodge out of the way, goes to deflect you, and you manage to do 3 shifts. Right? Yeah, 3 shifts. So you hit it and you bury this axe hand of yours into the tree, and as you do so, the human heads cry out even louder in pain, but the tree itself makes little to no sound. And with that, the tree is going to go, and it shakes free of your axe, and it starts swaying, and it's swaying back and forth, and it's digging some of its tentacle-like roots back into the ground, and all around you, completely encircling you, these twigs and these branches start to grow out. They don't seem to be forming trees, but they're growing. They first seem to grow what looks to be feet, and as they grow, they form shin, bones and thigh bones and hip bones, and the image of a humanoid skeleton made purely of twigs, branches, and grass forms, and there are dozens of them all around you. And the tree with the faces is just swaying back and forth as it brings its roots back out of the ground.
That motherfucker. If only we had an army of our own.
And with that, let's see. I'm just gonna roll a d6 to add some randomness to it. Let's see, all right, attack. Okay, and with that, they start to collapse in on you. Almost the entire number of these skeletal plant-like creatures collapse on top of Vanut. So they're going to attack Vanut. So Vanut can defend. How do you want to defend against all these creatures trying to pile up on you? Vanut. Luke, if you're
Sorry, I was muted. I was. Can I use clever to try and
tell me what you're trying to do.
To try and outsmart these skeleton things?
Yeah, I don't know how you're trying to outsmart them. You have to be able to roleplay it correctly.
As one lunges for me, I kind of go put my arms up, but I'm actually kind of falling back to roll, and that kind of
Yeah, that's more swift than anything.
Yeah, I can see how cover wouldn't work. I'm gonna use bold and be like, "You can't defeat me, skeletons! I am Golden himself!" And start swinging my arms like.
He's gonna glamour them. He's gonna glamour them again.
Apparently, he's going to glamour them. All right.
I'll drop my loincloth and.
Oh god, this didn't work so good last time. Hopefully, it's warmed up.
Okay.
Can I spend a fate point to give my Splinter being a +2 on that?
I'd roll.
You can, but right now you're just defending against an attack.
Okay.
An attack which total is 0, so that's the difficulty you got to hit.
So you have a 4th shift success.
Yeah. So yeah, you succeed with an immense amount of style. So you can create a boost. It's a boost, right? Yeah, you can create a boost for yourself, which is a free +2 to your next roll if you want.
Sure.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, it'll be a radiant form. That'll be your boost.
Okay.
Awesome. That's a cool one. So you're literally glowing, you've gone all fucking Super Saiyan on us, huh?
Thank God mode.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, and with that, actually, Vanut, it's your turn.
Yeah.
All right. So I wreck these skeletons, I assume.
They go to attack you, and you drop your loincloth and you start to glow with golden radiant energy, and it just blinds them a bit, so they manage to miss and stumble around you instead of actually piling up and ripping you to pieces.
Venut kind of goes into this almost trance-like state, and he's like, "I was once like you, made of seed and given life, but I am greater than you, and I will always be greater than you." And use his radiant form to shine out a light to destroy these things, a smite evil kind of thing.
All right, so you moved. You didn't use a fate point, right?
No.
No, I'm just.
All right. Cool. So you're trying to attack boldly?
Boldly, using my boost.
Using your free invoked boost of your radiant form, so that's an additional +2. So you would +2 your bold, and then select that for the roll.
So it'll be
+5.
rolling as a +5.
Yes, sir.
4.
Okay, so
That's still good. That's not a bad roll, dude.
no, it's not at all. Yeah, they're gonna defend.
You watch they get an epic.
Okay,
One, two.
they don't defend. So you do see a few of them, a small handful of them. There, you notice how your radiant form is glowing, and then their eye sockets actually start to glow, and they burst with your own radiant energy from the inside of their skulls outward, and it actually starts to unravel the twigs, branches, vines, and foliage that actually constructed their form. A few of them do manage to fall from this attack.
Okay.
Poe? You
Yeah.
used your boost, so you can erase that.
Yeah. Awesome. So I am going to. So Poe is going to right about this time, with all this crazy shit going on. He's just about done taking his gulp from last round, and as he finishes, he drops the he sets down the jug very tentatively, although it is indestructible, so it doesn't really matter. But, it's more of a manifestation of his form than anything. That's a tangent. And then he looks over to his brother Garconius and seeing that anger and seeing the creases where you can see the glowing, hot, molten core inside of this mountain that walks. He begins to siphon a bit of that energy off, and he begins to pull it up into his hand until a small flame kindles it. It's sputtering, and he's barely able to hold the control over it because he's just borrowing this divine will to manifest this. And then he takes in a breath of air, and a great gurgle begins to come up from his stomach. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my engorged stomach, and I'm going to invoke for effect. I'm going to invoke my stunt again to give the ambrosia in my stomach the temporary aspect flammable. With one free invocation, I'm going to invoke them both for a total of +4, and I'm going to attack with a flamethrower out in my mouth.
All right, so of course, move your intention.
Yes.
Move your intention. This would be 2 points because you used 2 fate points.
I only used 1 because I created the advantage last turn. If you want me to move 2, I'll do it.
Your stunt was you spend a fate point.
I do. I spend a fate point. It essentially, what my stunt does is it allows me to use a fate point to create an advantage for free, basically.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
But you spend a fate point to use that advantage, right?
Yes. So I used it, so that's 1 fate point. I only have 1 left, Nelson. I created an advantage, engorged stomach. I used a fate point to give the ambrosia inside of my stomach the aspect fire or flammable with 1 free invocation. I invoked that free invocation with the other invocation for a total of +4 on my bold attack.
You have a weirdly worded and a very intricate stunt, so it was confusing for a second.
I needed something that gave me the diversity of the character I built, but while it still honored your 1 stunt per god thing, so it's not super powerful, but it allows me to do cool, flashy shit like this. So I'm gonna roll. So this, and then, and just his mouth opens up extra wide, and he tries to aim this gout as best he can at the big tree in front of him. And as the gout of flammable ambrosia passes over the flame in his hand, he recoils that hand quickly. The gout now bursts into flame, and just this massive, just projectile vomit of flame goes sputtering forth. And I will roll my +9. Wait, no. I'm at 3, I go to 7 for +4. So my +7 attack. No! Get out of here! Okay. So +6 to hit. You see those minuses coming out? No! Get out of here! So this is a flaming 6+6 attack. Come on, yeah, minus, yeah, I get force, yeah, I hit him hard.
So you do 4 shifts of damage.
Yeah, which will create a boost.
All right.
So the boost, I don't mind if the boost is on the enemy itself. You know, a flame, maybe that anybody can invoke it. I'll pass my free invocation to Garconis if I can on a boost, actually. If you'd allow it.
It's gonna be on the guy as he takes a moderate consequence.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Awesome. I fucking smoked his ass, literally. So so the gout comes out. What does it look like when it hits this thing, Nelson?
I want to make sure I type that down so we all know it. So yeah, basically the flame sort of splashes across this, and again the screaming faces on this tree scream louder and in more pain than they have before. The tree starts to be engulfed in flame, and as it's flaming, the bark darkening and blackening and charring, it still stays there, just swaying back and forth, flaming in the wind.
And Poe, with a great mighty belch as the gout ends, would turn to Garconis and he would say, "Now, brother, strike whilst is aflame." And I'll pass my my boost to him.
So, what do I get from this boost?
You get a +2. You can invoke, but you have to use it, right? So he's on fire, so you have to describe how him being on fire helps you attack, and then you invoke it and get a +2 to your roll.
Okay.
If it's all right with Nelson, of course.
Yeah, I'm still getting these rules through my head. Yeah, so I could get a +2, right? Can I also use a fate point as well, or do I?
Yeah, you can use as many fate points to invoke as many aspects, whether they're scene aspects. The only one right now is the scene aspect of you being in the Hungering Wood. But to invoke any aspect, you have to roleplay it, and it has to make some sort of sense to me. And since he has the Flaming Tree God as a moderate consequence with 1 free invoke, you can tell me you want to invoke Flaming Tree God and try to describe how you're role-playing the actual invocation of that. And as long as it makes sense, you can get an additional +2 to your roll.
Right.
You can just role-play and tell us what you're doing.
All right, so, yes. Garconis sees his brother Poe do this with the flame, and how the flame danced off this creature, and how it's roving about, and his eyes flicker, and flame radiates from his eyes, and then he the axe-like hand reforms once more into his large arm, and you hear him going like this, and he reaches into his chest as if he's holding onto his rib cage, and then slowly he's pulling his chest open, revealing this molten core, this flaming molten core, and pulling forth all his anger and his might into this. This hurricane of flame blasts out from his body, from his core, and and like a seething lance of revenge. It strikes out of the tree and explodes itself upon it.
Okay, so are you trying to use any of your aspects?
I guess that is
Chorus of flame, of stone and flame?
That fits.
Or are you actually going to invoke your volcanic fury? Because you can actually invoke your trouble for benefit, if it makes sense.
You could invoke both and then take
Yeah.
the boost. Because you're
Sorry, say
fire.
that again, Nick. Say that again, you're breaking up.
You can invoke your trouble, volcanic fury, because for that role play it makes a lot of sense. So you can
Right.
spend a fate point to have that add a +2. If you want, you can also invoke Chorus of Stone and Flame, because according to the role play that makes sense. You can do both of those if you want, and use Flaming Tree God, since it all has to do with fire.
Right, I want to do all those.
So that'll cost 2 fate points, and you'll get a +6 to your roll.
Hell yeah! Woohoo! This is fate.
+6?
Yeah, you can get an additional
That's on
+6.
top of the +3 you already get. So you actually do get a +9, which is off the scale.
Well, it's
There's no 9 here.
yeah, but you're using your wise, right? Because you're invoking your Chorus of Stone and Flame,
I guess that would be correct.
which is the ascendant approach.
Oh, okay, I see what's
So
going
you would
on.
also have to move your intention. You only spend one fate point on that particular thing. Your volcanic fury is not an ascendant aspect. So move your intention for wise 1 point closer to wise, and you get your what is that? It's +8 total, because 6 + 2 is 8.
Woohoo!
That's still immense though.
Yeah.
That is way big. Ah, still good. Still good. Still a good hit. Hopefully. Come on, four negatives. 4 negatives. Let's go.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It just tries to just sit there and take it.
No!
Oh.
2 shifts. You don't get
Oh.
to carry the boost. Damn it.
Okay, so you only do 2 shifts, and it sits there and it takes and it's burning, and for a moment it seems like all this fire consumes itself almost, leaving just a charred bit of this tree. Small little flames still burning away on this tree god. The faces screaming out in pain. The charcoal from the burnt bits of the bark creating ash and soot on these faces. The tree god stretches and sways back and forth continually, these attacks seeming only to rock it slightly. Let me see. It starts to raise its tendrils and whips forward, and it whips forward at who is you know what, the one that did the hardest hit was Vanute. That's the one that hurt it the most. No, the one that hurt it the most was Poe. So it starts whipping its tendrils at Poe.
Poe begins to scream.
And it's going to invoke Flaming Tree God at Poe, as your own flames are set upon you again through its burning tree self. So that's pathetic. Oh, that is horrid. I only get a +4.
Okay, well, I don't really feel like I can just... I mean, I have to try to dodge this. Or I
Okay.
can try to. I'm gonna try to resist this. I'm gonna try to parry this with mighty. So he's basically doing that like flailing slap thing in front of him, and he's trying to slap these things away as they come in. So I only get a +1 on this. Ah, 3 shift hit.
Yep, he does 3 shifts.
That's a boost. So now I'm a flaming. So I'm gonna go ahead and tick off my.
It's also your stress boxes. He can do 3 shifts of stress.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna knock off my my 3.
So you knock off your 3 box, and it whips at you and then retreats its tendrils back to itself, and it starts swaying back and forth. These living tree skeletal things continue to try to pile on Venute, and they're just jumping on him constantly. Probably not doing much of anything. Vanute, you've just taken an attack.
I'm out of tricks, by the way, so any kind of compel you might want to throw them away. Go for it. Just go for it.
Oh,
I'll take
well,
it.
you know,
I'll
I
take it.
guess.
I'll take anything. Whose
Well,
turn is it?
it worked last time, so he's gonna try and use his divine Schlanglang to
He's just standing there naked, glowing,
Do you start to
pulsating
do,
energy.
do you start to like helicopter it or?
try to windmill these skeletons.
Yeah, you gonna windmill them?
This is ridiculous. Go ahead, be ridiculous, god of humor.
I can't help it. Well, no, you know what's funny is he's just so damn narcissistic. He thinks that this is, you know, and for the love of God, you know,
Okay,
but
so
you beat him.
yeah, so he gets it. He gets it. But also at this point, through the huts that were in slightly off to the distance, you can see, you know, the first half dozen that you saw before rush out of the hut, and the second half dozen rush out of another hut, and another half dozen rush out of a third hut. And one of them seems to be a sort of large centaur-like creature. It's the body of a bear and the torso of a man, and the head of a tree.
Poe gets a little horny.
So that's what you see starting to rush in onto your guys' location. And with that, you can go Vanute.
All right, are these guys still covering on top of me?
They're still trying to jump on top of you and tear you apart, but you're managing to like your heavenly divine glory is blinding them enough so where they're jumping to spaces because they can't quite see correctly.
Well, Bonnet is going to do something pretty daring.
I'm going to compel Vanute.
Okay.
The splendor of my being.
God damn it.
Now you can pay a fate point to ignore that, or accept it and I'll give you a fate point, but something happens.
I really want to do this thing, so I'm actually gonna spend a fate point for this thing.
Okay. Now you're down to like what, 1 fate point now after spending that, correct?
I went
I don't-
to 5.
I don't think so, man. You've compelled him twice previous to this, and he's only used
Yeah,
one.
he killed me twice when I went to 5, so I'm back down to 3.
But you used the fate point. Oh wait, no, yeah, you used the fate point once already. So that would have been
Yeah,
2.
And I
Okay, so you have 2 fate points left after this.
Well, you've compelled him 3 times today.
This would be the 3rd time.
Yeah,
And
so
I
he would
think
be
I
up to
accepted
6,
both.
and he's used 2, right? Or has he used 3?
He's compelled me 3 times. I've accepted 2 of them, which put me up from 3 to 5, and then I've used 2 already.
Okay, yeah. So you're sorry, my bad. Yeah, so we're on par. You're at 2. Excellent.
All right, so go do what you're gonna do.
All right. Bonnet is going to. This is essentially what I'm going to explain what it is, and you tell me how best works. Bonnet is going to jump at the tree, summon a golden axe, and using the light given off by this flame to strengthen his brilliant self, he's going to swing into this tree.
That sounds like a might attack.
Okay. Might time. Fortunately, might is a 1.
So it's yeah, without anything to without trying to jump out of the way or anything, the tree simply sways back and forth, and knocks you away from it, and you are on your golden ass.
On your golden ass.
Oh, I typed your. Jeez. So yeah, you are on your golden ass, which is a boost it creates from defending itself from that attack.
Boost for me or boost for it?
No, a boost for it.
Ugh.
Or any enemies that want to use it, because you are on your golden ass.
Joy.
And speaking about compels, since they're a good thing to do at this point, I would like to compel Poe.
Huh? Yeah! Give me that fate point.
Yeah, so take that fate point, but Poe, I'm compelling his patron of temptation, revelry, drink, and lovers. As he sees his beautiful golden brother sort of, emblazoning himself, ushering waves upon waves of divine golden glory, standing there in the splendor of his being, constantly round after round, Poe doing everything that he's been doing. This tree is on fire because he spat forth flaming ambrosia. Poe's starting to drink his ambrosia, but he's drinking way too hungrily and deeply, and he actually spends this entire round drinking.
Oh, damn. Too bad.
So
awesome.
That's horrible.
we move to Garconius, the mountain that walks.
It is bad, but Poe needs fate points in order to operate. So.
So I'm quite literally the mountain on fire at the minute. So, Elson, can I invoke my Vigor of Titan's Wrath and my Volcanic Fury together?
You're going all in at this point.
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah. How are you doing that though?
Well, Vigor of the Titan's Wrath is literally Garconius' mighty titanic strength, and he's feeling the fury within him build, and he's basically a giant mountainous fireball at this minute in time, and he's going to, all this fury is seething into his strength, and he's going to smash this thing.
Sure, go ahead. So
Okay.
the 2 fate points, move your intention accordingly.
So that's 2 on mighty then, yeah?
That's well, your Volcanic Fury is not an ascendant aspect, but your Vigor of Titan's Wrath is an ascendant aspect for mighty. So your mighty moves 1 point closer, on the intention.
Okay. So how many? That's 3 and that 5. Did I?
It's for the 2 invokes. That's a +4. So with your mighty being at a +3, that's a +7 in total.
Okay. So I'll just describe this a little bit better. Yeah. You saw Garconius's chest exploding open, and this fire just engulfs him completely, and the rock, the core within him is swelling and leaking out with lava, and the flame of his eyes just explodes. And as this does these eruptions occur on Garconius's body, and flaming tendrils burst out of his shoulders. And with all this fury, and he's shouting, he's screaming like this, and his form turns completely black with the veins of fire creasing his body. And with that, and he's looking at the creature's face as if it's taunting him. That golden face, it feels as if it's taunting him, taunting his mighty power. And this great mass of fire literally moves forward in this big rush, and this huge explosion of volcanic fury smashes into the golden tree thing, and let's see what happens. Everybody just hears. Everybody, as this connects with its face, the creature's face, you just hear like an atomic blast, basically.
Yep.
Still boost. Still boost. It's not great. Damn, man.
I gotta see if I can soak this up. So, yeah. Oh, wait, that's my tablet pen.
That's a good hit.
So it takes that hit, and well, it takes a mild consequence with that hit.
Is that it?
Wait.
Well, no, that's not it. It took a consequence and took some stress too. You didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. All right.
Consequences are really big deal. Like if he's taking consequences, that means that we're hitting him in his gonads at this point.
Yeah. So he takes the consequence with a free invoke split to the sap. So you can start seeing some tree sap sort of split from where you hit him. And it, of course, rocks him to one side, but the tree god sort of gets its balance again and starts swaying back and forth. And the cry of the 5 faces scream out in pain when he's hit. And with that, I believe it's the bad guys go. So, the tree creatures that were just pounding and trying to climb on and tear apart Vanud continue their assault. They're actually, seeing that Vanud is on his golden ass. They're taking this point of advantage to jump on him and hopefully tear his golden arms off. So they're getting them invoke on your golden ass. Beautiful world. So it's an attack with 4. So you have to defend Vanud, and I would think Either somewhat similar to how you've been going, or mighty. If you're there, Vanut, and if you're talking, unmute yourself. Or we could just narrate how we rip your golden body to pieces.
Note to self. Check to see if Mike is on. Vanut Mania is going to go wild on these bitches.
So, Vanut.
Vanut is going to, as they try to like grab onto his arms, he's going to be like, "No, you can't do that. I'm invincible."
So you're boldly defending yourself. And you take 1 shift of damage. So, you took stress before already, correct?
I don't think.
Or
No.
was that, no, that was only Garconius.
Garconis and Poe have both been hit.
Okay.
So I took a box of stress.
So you took one stress box.
Yep.
All right. So they don't manage to tear you apart at this point, but they are getting on top of you, and all of the sort of macabre mixtures of men and beasts, the human bodies with the animal heads that were exiting their huts and closing in on you, have at this point already arrived into this combat. You guys are literally surrounded by bodies at this point. There's the one larger one that's, like I said before, has the body of a bear, but where the bear's head would be is fused together with a man's torso, and the man's torso goes up, and where would be a head is the neck area is just bleeding constantly, ceaselessly, and the head is instead the base of a tree. And they're going to create an advantage of their own. And they don't manage to completely surround you. So with that, Vanut.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure to what extent my powers go at this point. But so they're on top of me.
And you still have a fate point left, right?
Yeah, I've got 2 fate points.
Okay, that's right.
Hold on. We can invoke other people's, can't we?
You can
Compel
compel, yes. And if it's good enough, like you have to convince me that it's good enough to be worth a fate point.
Okay. I know what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab the head of one of these things that are on top of me. Try and pull it down to me. And whisper to it, "I will make you beautiful." I would like to attempt to make this thing gold.
And how are you trying to do that? Are you spending your one of your last fate points?
I'm spending one of my last fate points to use my every city has its treasure.
Okay. So move your intention to wise.
Yep.
And are you making it solid gold, or are you just making it golden?
I'm making it solid gold.
So don't even roll. You whisper to it, "I'll make you gold," and all the vines and natural sort of formations, they all begin to shift in color. Of course, going from their browns and greens to oranges, to yellows until they become solid and gleam and shine in the light of the fire that's burning upon the tree god as this creature becomes totally gold. So you made one of the creatures totally gold.
Mhm.
Poe. It's actually your go, Poe.
It's my turn again. So yeah, so Poe is chugging it down. So he took this massive hit, these lashing roots whipping into him, but instead of tearing away flesh and exposing blood and gore, instead it as this form, these big gouges form across him. You just see the liquid golden flowing ambrosia actually makes up all of Poe. This facade that he puts on only for show, really. But as he drinks, you see his form begins to right itself. However, his life force is still quite deteriorated at this point. But he would turn. And Garconis, can I use your boost?
Sure you can.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go.
Split to the sap. Yeah, split to the sap is that's the consequence. The first time it gets the consequence to free invoke.
Okay.
Every time after that, it would you would have to spend a fate point, but you can still invoke their consequence.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use this free invoke. And what Poe's gonna do is as he as he's lifted up this jug and his form is retaken its shape, this great wave of a titanic wave of energy cascades off of Garconis from his massive Hearthstone attack that he just did, and the jug actually gets knocked back and he loses it. For a moment, and as it falls behind him, his mind clears, and he's able to focus on the combat at hand again. And he sees this tree, its sap open, and it looks tasty. So what he's going to do is I'm going to invoke that, and I'm going to go up, and I'm also going to invoke my being the patron of temptation, drink, and revelry. I'm going to try to drink this tree up and consume it. I'm going to try to consume its sap and suck it out of there.
Holy shit.
All right. So
intention again.
So yep, get that intention yet again. Your power is just increasing exponentially
I'm
this game.
trying to make it to 3, man. I'm trying very hard to make it to 3, but no further.
Once you pass 3, that's
That's
it.
it. I know. All right. For fuck's sakes, I can't. Okay, whatever. Hold on, just a sec, guys. Sorry, I'm having a little. I gotta tighten up my character sheet. Okay, so I'm actually sitting one space before 3 now. So I'll make the attack as I try to. So this will be just a +4 plus my ability. So here we go. +4 plus my ability, yes. Oh! 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 Eat the soul of the fucking master, motherfucker! Give me your soul!
Okay, I won't even roll the defense. We'll just say that as you're sucking the sap out, what the others can see at this point in time is that Poe hears this, of course, the 5 faces screaming out in pain and in agony, and one of the 5 yelling louder than the other 4, just ah! Ah! And as that one that's screaming louder, both Garconius and Vanute can see that face actually begin to get. It looks like it's being sucked dry of all its blood as it looks desiccated, and as it looks desiccated, it gets pulled back into back into this tree's form and disappears from this tree. And as that happens, Poe, you separate yourself from the tree, just drinking it of what you feel it's all that it has. The flames die out, and the blackened bark begins to fall to the ground, and his bark looks fresh again, and the tree resumes its swaying back and forth, now having 4 heads plus the golden one.
Excellent. I'll just add one thing to that too. So as Poe, his silver tongue darting out of his frog head and dipping deep into the crevices of this thing, lapping out the sap, creating this atrocious scene here. And but as the sap enters his mouth, you see the color of his head. It begins to change, darken, mottle, decay for just a moment, and then his divine will reasserts itself as he eats away this bit of sin from this thing, and then he steps back, almost drunk on the feeling, stumbling backwards a few feet, this kind of dazed and hazed look across his face.
Okay. Also, Garconius and Vanut, in the distance, what you notice is that when the head that became desiccated and disappeared into this swaying living tree god, you notice that the humanoid bodies with the animal heads that were closing in on you, that are trying to surround you, that the biggest one, the one with the bear body, the human torso mounted on where the head of the bear would be, and having a head made of tree branches itself, and its neck eternally bleeding. That one, its body, its humanoid body, begins to draw in and become desiccated and fall to the ground off of the bear's body. The bear's body falls, and the human body becomes nothing but dust. And I think it's Garconia's turn.
Alright, so my turn then, yeah? So, yes. So, Garconius sees all this and sees his brother Poe drinking the sin from this creature and seeing this thing desiccate and decay and fade away, and you see in this one of the beasts fall and shrivels into final death. And as he's still exploding, he's still a big, huge, mountainous fireball at the minute. And he looks, his eyes pinned to one of the other faces. Literally just bores this, it's like this, his heat eyes are boring into one of the other faces, in pain. And what he does is he focuses all his another great flaming punch onto one of the bases of the tree.
All right, so that would be a might roll.
That's a +3.
Your might, yeah. Yeah, so that's that you can succeed at a cost with that, correct?
Well, in combat, there is no such thing because it's shifts of damage that we're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's not a. So it
Unless
just stands
you
there.
Decide there is such a thing.
Now it stands there and it sort of just twists itself, bringing a branch down, and all you manage to do is just hit one of the branches and actually deflect your massive fist away from the face.
This is pissing Garconius off.
So with that, the tree begins to twist itself and it looks like it would be focusing its vision on Poe at the moment. And it's swaying back and forth, and as it's swaying back and forth, all the skeletal creatures first look at this tree god, and then stare at Poe and start jumping on Poe, and they're trying to pin Poe to the ground. So they're going to roll to create an advantage.
Okay.
Good God! This is not treating me right.
Okay, if you want to compel me, I won't defend because I'm dazed. Otherwise, I'll defend.
Well, this is not an attack. They're creating an advantage.
Oh, that's right. I don't have to. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's right.
And again, the beast-headed humans are still trying to surround you guys and overwhelm. So they're creating an advantage as well. Okay. All right. Cool.
Did that include the golden skeleton, by the way?
No, the golden skeleton is solid gold. He doesn't move.
All right.
He's just a mass of gold on top of you. But they've peeled their attention away from Vanut at the moment, since the biggest threat, the two biggest threats don't include you, and the bigger of the two threats is what they're trying to take out right now. So they managed to create the boost, overwhelming odds.
okay.
And it's going to be instantly used right now by the tree god, and the tree god is going to spend a fate point as well and try to beat the crap out of Poe.
Yeah. Poor Poe. All right, so he gets a +4 on top of whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Treat me right, damn you.
All right.
So it's a 5 hit. So go ahead, just roll your defense.
Okay. Hopefully, I can mitigate some of this. So he'll try to slap these things
Wait,
away.
you know what? I think I'll spend his last fate point as well. We're going all in now.
All right. So I'm up against.
He'll invoke the scene aspect, Hungering Woods, and the trees all around you and all the plant life around you also strikes down in tandem with him to give him a +2. So it's a total of 7.
Well, if any of you guys have any way to invoke to try to help me defend myself, I'd appreciate it at this point, because I may get hurt bad this time. But without any help, I will roll my mighty against this to defend myself. I don't really see how I could do anything else. And I get... Okay, so you've... that's still
3
5
shifts of...
shifts. It's going to be 5 because you burned another point after you rolled.
Oh yeah, that's right. 5 shifts.
So if anybody has any...
Can I do something to help Poe here, or does it have to win my turn?
I don't know. What are you trying to do?
I was thinking of Glory of the Earth. And with this Glory of the Earth, these rock formations come and shield.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that could give me a +2 if you
from this attack.
So you have but didn't you went all in already?
Hmm?
Oh, do you have a fate point left?
No, I don't think he has any fate points. He went all in last round.
I don't think Garconis has any. No, I think Vanut's the only one with any left.
Vanut has 1 fate point left at this point.
I wish you could. Yes, I wish you could. But
I think I have 1 left.
Everybody's went all in except Vanut at this moment. This is the trees all in moment.
yeah. I've been tracking it, man, because you got compelled once, which brought you up to 4, and then you've used 4 fate points. You used 2 at a time consecutively on 2 turns.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, Vanut, if you have any way to help glamour or try to distract from this, I appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm going to take 5 shifts of damage.
I'll tell you what, Garconis, if you want to jump in the way and take the 5 shifts of damage instead.
Oh, I'm already hurt pretty bad. Yeah,
Right.
that would really help.
You can do that for free.
I'll do that.
Oh, thank you, brother. You just see this look of fear on Poe's face as he's being held in place by this army of things, and they're holding him, and the master is like looming up above me, and he's just about to whip me in half, and then fucking Garconis does what?
Yeah, through the earth,
you
all
see
of a
this-
sudden,
you
there's
see this mass form just smash right on top of Poe, blocking him from whatever attacks him, and he takes the brunt of this. So, what do I take?
it's 5 shifts of damage. So you have you could soak the. Well, you've taken stress already, right?
Yeah.
You've
He's
taken
taking one.
one.
So he can
Just
hit,
one?
he can do
So-
his 2 and his 3 box.
He can do his 2 and his 3 stress box and not take a consequence. But if he gets hit one time during this fight, he'll start taking consequences. So you can soak it up with just bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
So like the master, this living tree, this tree god, fires its tendrils into the ground, and several of its tendril-like roots, and all of a sudden, dozens upon dozens of roots coming from every direction, sprout out to impale Poe, and Garconis manages to get there and shield his brother, and these impaling roots firing towards Poe bounce off of Garconis, leaving nothing more than minor scrapes and scratches. And with that, everything I tried to do that turn vanued.
Damn, that was a good hit, man. 5 shift hit is no joke.
I have one question.
What's up?
I don't even know what that is, Nick, so I'm assuming it's very bad.
Is the face is the face that's on the tree that's golden still there?
Yes.
Do we know if it's the one in control or not?
You don't. You know everything that I've told you.
You could try to deduce some shit.
I think I know what I'm gonna do. Please cue heroic theme music. More of a somber theatrical trailer music.
Dum 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 dum. Oh, wait. I mean. Wom.
You like to roll from underneath the skeleton thing, or
Okay.
run up to this tree, jump into the middle of it,
Okay.
and spend my last fate point to use the splendor of my being to explode the tree from the inside out.
You're not jumping in the tree. It has no holes to get in the tree.
Wait, hold on. You said it was split open with sap coming out of it.
Yeah, all of that is gone now.
So there's a hollow in the middle, right? Where I hang
No,
out this
all of that is
oh.
gone.
Oh,
The
so
tree
we
looks,
concentrated-
the living tree looks as it did before, except that it's missing one of the heads.
Oh, okay. But you can still jump onto it and blow.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
can jump onto it.
Do something to those heads or something.
And try and make a giant holy explosion.
Alright, so the splendor of your being, you have to move your intention towards bold.
Ooh.
So you get a +2 to your roll, which is a total of +5. Go for it.
+5. Oh yeah, totally. Can I remember that thing I messaged you about before, Nelson?
Not currently, no.
Like that heroic sacrifice thing?
Oh, yeah. You're trying to destroy yourself?
No, I would like to invoke the Hungering Wood so that it will draw me into itself while I try to explode.
You only have that one fate point.
Damn.
It's true.
You can only invoke
Five
one
is-
thing with one fate point.
5 is still good. Alright. Really, Nate? Oh, God.
What? You still got a fucking +4.
He is actually going to try to boldly defend your bold attack,
Ha!
which is not its best stat. I should have not done that.
Yeah, you got a boost. You got a boost.
Or you
Hooray!
could just take the 3 shifts of damage, which it does, and it doesn't even break stride. And it's like, it tries to grow leaves as the splendor of your being, your radiance, to absorb your radiance, and the the leaves that it grows just burst into flame and fall off of it. And it's swaying with you on top of it now. Poe?
Poe.
Actually, you know what? With that splendor of your whole being thing, you actually flash back to the throne that you created for your golden mistress, your very first creation in this mortal realm.
All right. All right. So first thing Poe wants to do is he's going to glance over at them heads, the ones that were on snakes. Is there any chance, because we noticed one of the heads that was on the thing disappeared. Is one of the heads missing over there now?
No, but when at the moment, remember I said all 3 of you can see at the moment that this. Oh no, you couldn't see it, but the other 2 did. At the moment that head disappeared, that it became desiccated and drawn out and dry, and disappeared into the tree. The half bear, half man, half tree-headed thing, the humanoid and tree part began to become desiccated and fell to its death.
But all the heads are still there. Okay, I was just trying to.
No, not all the heads.
Uh-huh.
There are 4 living, screaming heads and 1 head made of gold.
Still on the tree. Yeah.
Still on the tree.
Yeah, I was trying to find out if there was a correlation between the heads on the tree and the heads that were on the pikes. And it sounds like there isn't. So I guess what I'm going to do...
Well, I mean, you're a pretty wise guy. There's definitely a correlation between the heads on the pikes and, the fact that these human bodies don't have any human heads on them.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe there was some kind of trick way to deal with this thing or something, but it seems like my best course of action would just be to set up again. So, I think,
Well, you can do it, dude. You can do it. I know you got it.
All right.
Guys, I'll give you a slight meta clue. Some of you are kind of close in the way you're thinking.
Uh-huh.
Maybe not necessarily there yet, but definitely close.
All right, well, I'm not for sure what to do quite yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing. I'm going to pull out my lute, and begin to strum a war song. You know, just something real badass and get us all really pumped up. And I'm going to try to inspire Garconis, instill in him even more rage that he can then harness.
Or I could compel you.
Oh, I'll take it.
Okay.
Get out my lute. And
along the same veins of strumming your lute and singing a song, this is a song that's of an epic tale of how you were born and you rescued a town, and now before you stands the god of trees that brings you, Poe, the god, you know, this new god down upon your knees, and there is no hope, there is no escape. You will die, you will burn, and defeat you will taste. And that's the kind of things it's a very dark song in which you're singing, a defeatist song at this moment.
Oh no.
But you do get a fate point.
Oh no, yeah. So it comes out all solemn and off tone. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, he kind of quakes in his boots a little.
But that's what you spend this round doing.
All right.
So it would move to Garconius, right? And Garconius, I would like to compel Garconius as well.
Yeah.
And what I'm compelling is his vigor of Titan's wrath. And Garconius is just basically going to spend his turn in this round sort of pounding away on his chest and flexing and trying to show his giant earthly might. But, you know, he's actually wasting his time doing so, just, you know, pounding himself, stomping on the ground, and sort of throwing a little bit of a tantrum.
Alright, so I look like King Kong, the Rock.
Yes.
The Rock version of King Kong, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're King Kong in there, bro.
So do I get a fate point for that?
You do get a fate point for that. But with Garconius beside Poe, stomping and pounding on his rocky chest, almost like the drum beat to this somber strumming and the off-tune tunes and dark defeatist song that Poe is falling into. The only radiant light right now in this group seems to be Vanut, but Vanut doesn't seem to be defeated, and all the forces of the tree god are starting to collapse on Vanut, and they're all going to start rolling to create boosts. The tree god is going to try to toss you from your perch. So, you know, it's reaching for you, and you're like, I'm not going on my golden ass again, dodging it to and fro. The skeletal plant creatures are beginning to climb the tree god. I can't get boosts. So they're climbing the tree god, but with the tree god swaying, they can't quite reach you and surround you on their god's branches. And the beast-headed humans are actually going to collapse. Let's see, on Lowit's Poe. Yeah, they're collapsing on Poe. So they're all going to charge and try to finish this sad sight. So that was an attack. You can defend. So they're all charging Poe, and And as Poe's strumming, he's like accidentally hitting them with elbows away and like swaying to one side, and they're just bouncing off his massive form. And we'll die here tonight. We were but newborns. Like it's crazy. And with that, Vanut, it would be Vanut's go.
All right. I'm gonna try and make my way to the golden mask on the tree.
Okay.
And merge my hands into the golden face, and then try and pull it off the tree.
It comes off with little to no effort at all.
Oh.
You pull it out, and the gold becomes like dust and disappears.
Is there a head there?
No, there's nothing there currently.
Oh.
But it comes off like it's nothing.
Punch him in another one. Keep fucking him up. Get this fucker.
I'll try and go for another one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that would count as your action, though, right?
Yeah.
But Poe, are you continue singing your somber song for this round?
Yeah, another point if I do.
You know what? If you compel yourself, and you continue your somber song and pass your round, yes, I'll give you another fate point.
I am going to no, I am going to act because I want to get hit. I want to hit 3. I want to hit 3. I want to make sure I hit 3.
Oh God!
I want to
He's playing with that.
Oh, I'm pushing it. I'm really pushing it.
You can bleed off intention when you get it.
Yeah.
And infect either the land or a community.
Yeah.
And it becomes yours.
Oh. Yeah. So one more. I need one more to secure my God's Ascension, and then I can start bleeding.
No, at 1, if you end the tail at 1, you officially become a god.
Mm-hmm. I am 1 point behind hitting 3, Nelson. So I'm gonna hit 3. So I got it, and then I'm gonna sit pretty on that and just let it ride. I am going to. All right. So these fucking things that keep touching me and keep holding me and they're pissing me off. So Poe is going to change the tone of his song and he's going to invoke his patronage of revelry, and I'm going to attempt to overcome this monster's divine will and take control of its minions, at least in the effect of having them dance and not be effective.
All right.
So I'm going to try to create an advantage against them, which they will then have to overcome, and I'm going to invoke to give myself a +2.
Now, the easier way, because of the way gods and monsters work, is that if you do that, you can bleed off that intention you get into the community and literally force your power into the community and take it over. So you can literally take this community over.
I know, but I want my personal power.
The choice is yours, brother.
I'm gonna take my personal power, and then maybe someone else can do that. With their intention. It's the power, fully immersed power gamer. We're brothers. Damn it. So he begins to strum this tune and do this like seductive Latin like dance on his hooves, and he's just trying to push his divine will out and turn these minions into dancing inconveniences. So I'm going to try to create an advantage that they would have to overcome before they could attack us. Okay. Awesome. So I will go ahead and I'll do +5 for this, and I will move my intention up to rest firmly upon 3!
2 points, and you become a monster.
2 points and I become a monster.
2 more points of that intention, you become a monster.
So I'm guessing I fail, actually, with only 3.
Yeah.
All right, so I prance and I parade myself around and become very frustrated. As he does this and he realizes that his power is failing him, his head shifts again from that bluish green to orange and then going almost to red as it becomes enraged and much more powerful and closer to monsterhood.
Yes, you can definitely feel like this is bold, right?
Yes, it's bold.
Yeah, you can feel like you're starting to feel like you can take on anything, that you just being there, not by the force of your power, your strength like Arconius, or the beauty, but just your own personal glory is filling you up, and you almost feel compelled, by your own glory, that you no longer need to be wise. You can feel that your cleverness and your wisdom is one of your ascended approaches.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm all on the left. So wise, clever, bold.
Yeah. So right now, your cleverness, your intellect, your wisdom, it seems like you could discard those and rely purely on your bold nature, that you would just bounce forward and everyone would, you can feel yourself becoming closer and skirting that thin line into something new, something more powerful than you are.
I feel it, brothers! Do you?
And Garconius.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to see a frog kind monster just appear,
No!
Well, if he becomes a monster, he's in the world now, and I get to do some
You're going to
illustrations.
play with him. Okay, so
No, they... 2 points as a demigod away from becoming a monster. This is episode number 2. This is great. Garconius.
right, okay,
You have a fate point, right?
yeah,
Because I compelled you already.
yeah.
To same deal goes. If you continue pounding away on your chest and stomping on the floor for this entire turn, you can take another fate point.
Right. Oh gosh.
Or you can do what was mentioned before to Poe.
Yeah. Yeah. I already claimed one settlement, man. One of you two fucking take that shit up. Do it.
What?
I'm up doing Shadowbox.
Right, bleeding off my intent to taking the.
When you gain an intention, you can automatically bleed it off, or you can start storing it in your stations. Right now, you only have one station, which all of you share, and that's Stone Hollow. But if you bleed off intention, there is a small negative effect to the community or to the region or sub-region in which you bleed that intention off too. Yeah, you can't bleed. You can store it. So when you gain it, you can store it, but each station can only store 1 point. So that way, when you ascend into godhood and start getting boons, boons are powered by power points. Power points are generated by storing intention into your stations, such as Stone Hollow. But you could just bleed it off and have the landscape and the communities warp to your power. But then it'll be yours.
That'll be mine.
It's the easiest and yet the most irresponsible way to go about gaining power.
Hey, we're newly borns. Fuck it. Hey.
Look, it's all good. I don't know. Your brother Poe is moments, steps away from becoming a monster. Like, you can all feel his power rising and boiling inside of him.
Okay. Shit. I kind of like feel my indecisions just like because Garconius is standing there pumping, beating his chest. Gosh. Well, okay. So Garconius is with the stunt you could.
Wait, what? What are you saying with a stunt?
He asked if we could bleed to Stone Hollow, and I told him, yeah, if you had a stunt that allowed you to do that, otherwise it has to be right here.
Yeah. Oh, but right here is, if you're gonna bleed, the most effective way to do it is right here, right now. That way, the community becomes yours.
Oh hell with that! I think the gods, they're being quite stupid at the minute, or quite aggressive, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're young gods and everything. So I'm gonna bleed my intent into this place.
All right. So you can. What happens is that you have to actually invoke one of your ascended aspects, and instead of gaining the intention, you bleed it off as soon as you get it, and you still get to act.
Yeah, you still get to attack. It doesn't even cost you your attack.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you your action. It's just that Poe wanted to keep the intention for himself.
Yeah, I'm miserly.
Rude, you big tough nigga.
Just want to make sure I get the best of the best when it's time.
You guys, look, this is episode 2, and you're only in the Hungering Wood. This ain't the Forest of the Ever-Living. This is a sub-region in the Forest of the Ever-Living.
Oh, shit. I thought this was the end of the tale.
I'll tell you what. We'll have subtales. Every time you defeat a god, I'll just retitle these things. But going back to Garconius. Garconius, my friend.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Oh gosh. I'm trying to think. It's a tough one at the minute.
Very ponderous. Sounds like you want to take that compel after all.
Yeah, you want to keep pounding on your chest and stomping on the floor. I'll give you another fate point, and we can move on to the bad guys go.
Or do it, man. One or the other. Hey. Or just attack. That's not helping with indecision. I'm sorry. I just listed all of your options as if it was going to help you with indecision. Claim this land, brother! Claim it for our glory!
Right, he's gonna claim the land.
All right. You're trying to claim land or this community that you're in?
I don't know.
He's the attention, I think. Oh, is there 2 different choices? Is it a region and a community, and he gets to pick which one he bleeds into?
He gets to bleed. Yeah. Because you can try to bleed your intent to take this region of the Hungering Wood, or you can create a sub-region within the Hungering Wood. which as demigods I think would be the actual choice, or you can just take over the community.
I don't know, like meta-wise, it seems like taking away. We assume that he gets some kind of power from this community. It seems like that might be good, but then all the other options sound good too. So, again, I just listed your options and expect that to help you with indecision.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
I don't. What I don't want to do is
choice is yours,
influence your
and
decision.
You really, dude, you're demigods. Okay,
Yeah.
You're on your way to godhood. Poe is trying to become like the super god right out the gate already. You know,
Myself in a good position.
Vanud is already trying to create people in his own twisted image, and then tearing them to pieces.
Yeah, will help with that.
I mean, is Garconius really trying to be the only responsible one?
Come on, man.
No, he's not. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna take over this place.
Yeah. So you still get to smash this fucker too.
So what do I do? What do I do to do that?
You gotta invoke. You invoke one of your aspects. Let me know which aspect it is. But it would have to be, of course, an ascendant aspect for you to gain that intention to bleed it off. So either, Vigor of Titan's Wrath, Glory of the Earth, Chorus of Stone and Flame would be your choices.
I'm just thinking of the one that makes sense. Maybe Glory of the Earth.
Okay.
So, yeah, I roll something?
So you're attacking the tree god, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So so you're boldly attacking. Describe how this attack is bold. Bold and glorious.
Oh gosh. All right. Yeah. You see this. You see this flaming radiance coming from Garconius. These streaks of flaming light coming from his form. It's like it's almost like he's getting bigger. And with that, the fiery tendrils that was upon his shoulders stretches out like as if it's like giant wings, like giant flaming wings. And bear with me, it's very late over here.
All right. Yeah, I think we'll end pretty soon because we've been playing for like almost 4 hours.
Really? Holy shit. Alright, so
We got some shit to finish. Maybe. I just need 2 more fate points.
and you just hear him go. He just shouts, "Bye to me," like that.
All right, so roll it up. You get your +2 for Glory of the Earth. So that's a +4 attack.
So that's 4.
So yeah, click on the 4, and it will roll for you. All right. And it will try to boldly defend. You know, as you say, bow. It tries to just stand up taller.
At last! Yes!
All right. So as it does so,
good.
parts of its what is that? 5, 6
6 ships. 6.
Good God! So that's
Double fucking boon or whatever the fuck it's called. Jesus Christ. Double style. Extra style.
all right. So it takes a severe consequence.
Damn.
It takes a severe consequence, and I don't know if you spell this right, but wilted in shame. Oh, damn it.
Oh, you got to him emotionally.
Wilted in shame. As whatever leaves it had blacken and start falling like raindrops from itself, covering both itself, the floor, blowing in whatever wind and breeze blows. The creatures climbing up on it slide down the tree god, and they look confused and bewildered at the tree god's form, just sort of almost shrinking and wilting in its pathetic shame as you intimidate the hell out of it in this moment. So wilted in shame, of course, has that free invoke. You get to get a point of intention, but instead of moving your intention, you are bleeding it into the community, right?
Okay, I think.
So the animal-headed humans that were trying to just go at Poe at this point sort of stumble, and the earth begins to shake and rumble. And as the earth is shaking and rumbling, gouts of flame, much like the flaming wings that sprouted from Garconius' form, begin to erupt from the earth, and they start burning away these grass and twig and vine huts, burning away the walls and the trees, and everything in this entire village starts to be swept away and twist and warp, as the huts, once they're finished burning, are now oddly made of stone. The trees in this village, once they're finished burning, are again oddly made of stone. Their leaves are little flicks of flame. Even the ground in which you stand began to rumble and shake, and it shook off the dirt and the grass as if it was dust from your shoulder, and beneath it exposed is now nothing but stone, as this entire village has become stone. And all the beast-headed humans, they turn towards Garconius, and they turn to look to this living tree, and they turn back to the Garconius, and all take a knee.
Yeah.
And with that, the tree that was swaying back and forth, he stopped in his motions, began wilting away, and is now almost jerking in how it's looking. The eyes of the screaming faces shoot backwards and forward throughout all of you. They end their cries in of pain, and in unison, as if in one voice, say, I, Tao Takala, the hungering tree, will wear your faces next. And it begins to wither, and oh no, it can't. It starts shriveling again in its shame, and it begins to wither and try to dig into the ground, which it can't, because now the ground is made of stone.
Ha! Motherfucker.
And it starts retreating outside of the town. So it spends its action to move. And it's actually retreating from you guys now.
Can we finish this thing?
I don't know.
He threatened us.
It's like 4
motherfucker.
hours, and you still have the critters to deal with.
Okay.
And the critters, right? These skeletal vines and stuff, taking the visage of the human skeletons, actually follow their master, and they link up and form a chain.
Can we capture this thing? Create a stone prison around it as it tries to get away?
I don't know. You guys don't have any fate points left.
Well, no, as a storyteller, it's okay for you just to say no. I mean, I understand that completely.
You guys,
Like, you're
no,
trying
but
to get them away to finish this later, right? That's cool.
it gets away. It
Okay.
gets away for now, and you guys can just tear apart It's summoned minions.
How about you compel us not to chase it? I'm gonna ask. Just let that go. I'm joking. Yeah,
You know
we'll
what?
take on whatever's left.
Yes. You know what? Yes, you are all compelled. You are all compelled. The boldness of both Garconius and Vanut are compelled as they stand triumphant. Garconius pounding away at his chest victoriously. You know, as this tree god, an actual god, ran away from him, though he is less than a day old. Vanut glowing in this dark night, almost like the sun has touched down on the ground, illuminating everything around it. These animal-headed human creatures bowing and starting to kowtow and worship around you. Poe beginning once again to sing a song of glory and triumph and victory. Singing the tales and, strumming away his lute and spreading the ambrosia everywhere.
Squirt, squirt. Well, one thing you guys would notice is that his head hasn't changed back from that fiery red-orange look. He's still just completely in love with his newfound power, and he's actually holding on to a bit of the rage that helped him induce it.
All right, so with that, we'll begin wrapping this up. We can take a few minutes of role play. Garconius, you actually infected the land. You've infected the village with your power, so it's morphed, right? And now the village itself is made of stone and flame. The chieftain, again, go ahead, role play. You guys role play your ways out, and we'll just go with it.
I'm fine with the segue. I mean, this is all you, Garconius. This is your station. So, like, Poe would defer to you. He would provide revelry for your followers if they chose to partake of it. But he would take his cues from you, and he would feel the solemnness of your nature in this place, and so he would feel a little uneasy. But still at home because it is his brother's sanctuary here. But yeah, so that's how Poe will spend the rest of the night, playing tunes and watching how his brother handles this new place. We didn't do this to the other place, so this is new, and Poe is quite wonderstruck by just the sheer. I mean, his power comes in a totally different way than Garconius's. Garconius is so vulgar, and he shapes the earth before him, and Poe, spends time pontificating on the true meaning of power and what it should mean for him, and he becomes mildly jealous.
Oh, but Poe is exuding fucking power, though. With your +3 bold, you are definitely exuding power. As a matter of fact, with a +3 bold, your songs actually resonate whether or not you're singing or playing your instrument around you. Just as you walk, your songs sort of at a lower level, just in the wind, can be heard. But Vanut and Garconius, how are you with these events?
Yeah. So Garconius is, you see him. He's standing tall and straight, and the radiance of his presence is just still glowing the heat. And he looks to his other brothers and he says, "We have won a great victory this day, but we have also made a great foe." And with that, he turns to his people, to these people that are not his, and they are kneeling to him. And he says, "My children, bask in the eternal strength and fire, in the form and the shape of earth that is Garcodius. Join me and be one with the strength and form of Garcodius." I don't even know if that makes sense. At 10 to 2 in the morning?
Be one with my brother Garconius!
You know what? As you're saying that and you're talking to these people, they actually start to they start growling and yelping and making those animal sounds that the heads in which they bear make. The eyes on the human heads on pikes all around, just blazing open, they're wide and white. The creatures bowing at your feet begin to shake and stiffen, and you can see that their flesh is slowly becoming more rock-like, and you can feel the heat starting to come out of them as they're taking on aspects of your power.
That's nice. I kind of really want to stop it now.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for Vanut's closing sort of statement.
So my question before I do is, how do we change our aspects, like our troubles and stuff, so that
you can change them. You can change them at the end of a tale.
Oh, okay.
But it's more like in Gods and Monsters, depending on your sliding scale of intention, that's how they're warped and changed.
Okay. Because I think mine might actually change by the end of this. Excuse me. So Vanut actually doesn't look exactly the same as he did when the battle started. Instead of the flowing robes that he had on before, he actually has like animal furs and stuff on, but they're still golden colored. So you have like almost a little bit like tiger stripe fur and bear fur, but they're all golden. What used to be his like goldeny crown hair is now there's an animal skull and his hair is coming out from it, and it's a golden animal skull. It's essentially that he looks different. He looks a little older than he did before. But he's looking at the accomplishments of his brothers, and he does something I don't think his brothers have ever seen him do. He starts to have this joyous laughter, like, my brothers, today is an important day. We change this place we live on forever. And with that, he starts walking back towards Stone Hollow.
All right, cool. So as the role play comes to an end, basically this new tribe of yours, it's made of stone and fire now. Even the people themselves are infected with being made of stone and fire. They're not quite like Garconius, but they do have some of his aspects. When you get back to Stone Hollow, they've actually been going all night, doing partying and sacrificing people one after the other, cutting them to bits and letting the bits reformed. You find that they call it the right of the reconstructed.
Oh no!
Because to suffer is because life is suffering, and she will show all of her village a way to live more than they have ever, to live in a way that they have never known. And this village, this yet unnamed village, is made of stone and fire. The huts are stone, the ground is stone. The trees themselves are actually petrified and stone. And the leaves on the trees are motes of fire. For the canopy above this village is aflame constantly. Teotihuacan, the hungering tree, the tree god himself, though defeated, still lives, and this realm is still his. Your followers tell you, they hand you this information, and they say that there's 6 tribes in the woods. 6 tribes that worshipped Teotihuacan. And with that, we'll leave you for next week. And we'll pick it up then and hopefully have Wayfarer.
Yeah, we need him. So I don't have to be so serious.
So, if you want to plug any online things that you're doing, introduce yourselves again. Go right ahead, gentlemen.
All right, yeah, I'm Nick. I played Poe, and it was just a lot of fun, man. I love this. I like that we had a longer session. I love long sessions, so it was good. It was great. I had a lot of fun. I got to do everything I wanted to do. I do have a YouTube channel. I did recently post up a series of tutorials to help people learn battle maps in Photoshop, so that's there if anybody is interested in that. And come see us on the Facebook RPG One Shot group, please. Thank you.
I am Brian, and I play Cornelius, and it is 2 in the morning, but that was awesome. But
Yeah.
if you want to check out some art, you can go to my page on DeviantArts, which is bmartialarts at deviantarts.com. I think that's right. I pass that on to Luke.
Hi everybody. I play of course Venet. Things I'm plugging. Next session, the Golden Woman. Things offsite. Let's see. Next week I'm putting an event page up for Titans of Cataclysm, which I've been talking about. Hopefully Nelson got my message about that art I wanted him to do.
What the hell? What was that?
And I'll spread the word again that on Halloween, October 31st, which is a Saturday, wonderfully, I'm running White Plume Mountain converted to 5th. Which is nice because the DMG actually gives me 2 of the weapons they already did for me. So anyway, and now I pass it off to Nelson, who plays some tree.
Yeah, of course I'm Nelson. I played Teotihuacan, the hungering tree, as well as the little miniature whatevers. I did what GMs do, right? If you're here, you already know about the YouTube channel. Check out the Facebook group, Infinite Roleplay, the Infinite Roleplay store on Drive-Thru RPG, where about 90% of the things that I provide are pay what you want. I do a lot of generic dungeon maps, world maps. I plan on releasing, I have 2 adventures on there right now, as well as a bunch of adventures and character art to come. I do, hangouts for making maps, showing Photoshop, making characters. I do a lot of things. So enjoy. Until we see you, ladies and gents, next time, peace.